All right, welcome back to the party, everybody. I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody, hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you. And let's party! Big shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back to watch this, even though you missed the live party. Guys, that is the best part. So make sure you are here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it, been going live a lot more. So hit that subscribe, ring the bell, and you will never miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again. If you would like to support the channel, you can head on over to theindianjesus.com for your very own official merch only at theindianjesus.com. You can also join our free Discord server. It is absolutely free to join 24/7. We're in there hanging out and having cool conversations. Definitely come join us. But if you actually scroll right below the video and hit that join button, not only do you get free members streams on YouTube, but you get full access to the Discord server, which includes our after party. That's right. Every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday stream, as soon as we are done, we head over to the Discord for an after party where, you're not stuck behind your keyboard. You're on screen with me and everybody else. We don't have to worry about the YouTube censors, any of that stuff. It is a grand old time. You should definitely come and join us. What is good? We got Liberty Plus TV. Harley Rose in the building, Melted Mind Media, and our boy John's all the way over from Wichita. Welcome to the party, guys. Good to see you. Good to see you. So I don't know if you saw this week. What was it? A couple days ago. 3. It was like a week ago now. PBD was on Tucker Carlson. And I'm really excited to dive into this. As you guys know, I like to go through this stuff to see, to make sure that it is good for a show, but I haven't really watched into it. And, they had an interesting conversation, but later in the conversation is when they get to talking about Chris Cuomo and was that a good idea or not? And if you'll remember, Tim Pool was one of the people who said that was the worst business move possible. And I kind of was feeling the same kind of way, but I was like, I mean, let's see what he's got. But so far, I don't know. So let's see how he answers for it. We're skipping forward right to the good stuff. As always, guys, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
You should take the vaccine. What is all this horse, ivermectin stuff? What's this all about? You're being irresponsible, Byron Donalds. Yes, what a great citizen Cuomo is, right? Face of CNN, Big Pharma, and all these guys. We like what he's doing, right? And the writer's like, why are you making me take it? I don't want to take it. Let it be my choice. Now, you mean to tell me you're going from that position to on the podcast saying, I'm taking ivermectin now? And yeah, I guess Joe Rogan was right. You're saying that now?
And I'm vaxxed. That's what Chris Cuomo said on PBD.
Ectin now? And yeah, I guess Joe Rogan was right. You're saying that now.
And I'm vax injured.
And I'm not only vax injured. And then when I ask him if COVID comes back in 2026 and they're forcing everybody to take the vaccine, would you take it? He says, absolutely not. So you wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take it. Okay.
Well, you sure did tell a lot of people that they should. So it's good that you've changed your mind, Chris Cuomo, but how about the apology to all the people that you lied to?
So obviously when he says that, you have to keep in mind that how is Fauci feel about that? Probably not good. How is people from CDC, the doctors, how do they feel about it? Probably not good. How about some of the people from his side that were all on his show and he was taking care of them, defending them? They can't stand him right now because what he's doing is he's bringing back something that's been under the rug and almost disappeared. Because everybody's now talking about what? Immigration. Everybody's talking about all these other issues.
Right.
And immigration, election 2024. Yeah, what happened? What about the gain of function? Yeah, but forget about it. But let's focus on all this stuff. What about what China did?
Let's talk about October 7th.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah,
so I think what he's doing is a massive risk.
But wait a second. It doesn't.
Yeah, before me too. I don't care that other people who are dumb are mad that Chris Cuomo is not still saying the same dumb stuff that he said years ago. That is not an apology. That is not redemption. That is not anything. So I hope that's where Tucker's going with this.
What he's doing is a massive risk.
But wait a second. It doesn't. Okay. So what you're saying makes sense on one side. Clearly his former allies are mad. They feel betrayed. He's exposing the lies.
Right. That got nothing to do with us.
but doesn't that give him new allies? I mean, I'm having dinner tonight, for example, with Glenn Greenwald, who I love and consider a friend of mine.
Rift.
And Glenn Greenwald must have written 50 pieces attacking me 20 years ago.
Right.
But then we aligned on a couple of big issues, real issues. And I'm happy to be friends with Glenn Greenwald. I've changed my views on a lot of issues. I believe in repentance. I think change is essential. As the facts change, so should your conclusions. Like, this is all good. And so normally the once was lost, now I'm found people find a new home. But he doesn't seem to have found a new home.
No, because he hasn't repented and asked for forgiveness.
Exactly.
And that's not easy to do. So
it's not easy to do, but you still need to do it.
It's so easy to do. It's the easiest thing there is. I fucked up. I'm sorry. Like, that's the most simple, liberating act in life.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. So here's a question for you. You're married, right? Your family.
Yeah.
You have your kid. You know, you got your thing. You got your community. Imagine all of a sudden you get so close to Fauci and you're all of a sudden hanging out with Rachel Maddow. You guys are best friends. And you're hanging out with all these guys on the left. And suddenly you sit there and say, no, the right was wrong. Everybody should take the vaccine. Everybody should go through it. Okay. So imagine you take a position like that suddenly. How's your wife feel about it? How's your family feel about it?
I don't care, PBD. I don't care. I care how I feel about it. I was the aggrieved person. I don't care how he feels. That's the whole point. He lost that ability of my consideration when he lied to the American people. Shout out to Brandon Herrera. Lost a little bit by 400 votes, but well ran. Only 0.7. God damn. All right. Well, shout out. That's a great showing. That's a great showing. But yeah, I mean, this all excuses. And shout out to Tucker. It's like, what do you mean? It's so easy to say I'm sorry, and it is.
You take a position like that suddenly. How's your wife feel about it? How's your family feel about it? How do your lineage of what you've done, your history, where you come from? How do they feel about it? So
you're proud of the lies.
You have to sleep next to your wife. Now, so for Chris, as he's going through this process, and you're talking to the guy off camera, my kids absolutely love this guy when he comes in. He wrestles, does jujitsu with my kids. They're doing this, they're doing that.
This is the separation between why, again, I'm not considering Chris Cuomo as somebody who should not be around children. I mean, yeah, he's a bad guy, but I don't think he's that bad, at least of what I know. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, do I trust this person to disseminate information and have conversations in good faith, knowing that millions of people are listening? I don't care if your kids like him.
He love this guy.
Every excuse is pissing me off more.
He wrestles, does jujitsu with my kids. They're doing this, they're doing that. Off camera, we have the most fieriest arguments. Hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, just absolute, like boom, boom, boom. And then, hey, okay, man, I'll talk to you next week. Done. Right. And a part of me, I'm not speaking on his behalf. This is something he needs to make a decision for himself. There
is something specific that PBD can say, and I'll tell you what it is after we get through this to see if we get it. But I hope he brings it up, because it's the only thing. It's the only thing that he can say that will put me in a position of, okay, I don't like it, but if you're doing that, I can stand back and see what's good. There's one thing he can say.
When I go through it and I process it,
I don't know.
He gives me zero vibes of somebody's on the left.
Vibes.
Zero.
Chris Cuomo?
No.
Bet, bro. Vibes.
He's not
Not even a little bit.
Let me explain what I mean.
It's almost like being around someone who like is not in touch with himself, and he doesn't know what everyone else knows about him. And Chris Cuomo, you look at Chris Cuomo, it's like, you are in no sense a liberal temperamentally.
No, he's not. He's not a liberal. Now, he may be a center-left guy. Okay, fine. He may be a center-right guy, economically right. Vaccine, not for it now, doesn't like what happened with.
I don't even give him that much credit. Much credit. I have no clue what happens in the mind of Chris Cuomo. I know what comes out of Chris Cuomo's mouth, but that tells me nothing about what Chris Cuomo believes.
When he thinks about certain things with military, there's so many things that you can go on, but the guy's going, He is risen. You know who's the only person that texts me when it's Easter or any of these? And first guy that texts me, it's him. So
Yeah, I wonder why.
spiritually, what he's going through. These are all stuff that you look at like, okay, maybe he's going through it. Maybe he's going through what he's doing right now. But for him to come out,
he's afraid of the feminists. That's part of it. I can feel that.
I mean, aren't we all?
Said that to him, right to him. He's afraid if you care what the feminists think, and obviously you shouldn't because it's so degrading to care what they think, but then you have to mouth certain lies and you're like required because you're afraid of the screechiness.
Yeah.
But they don't respect you more for repeating their lies. They actually see you as a bitch when you do that. They want you to be strong. They're feminists in the first place because they haven't been around men who are just honest and correct and strong. So you cannot be afraid of them. And I really get the feeling like he can't say certain things because he's afraid of the feminists.
Put something.
Yep. And most of my media, he passed the PBD vibe check, but not anybody else's. Shout out to Brian M. Welcome to the party. So like, seems like PBD is stretching things. Not sure he does to be honest here. Yeah, I mean, the one thing that PBD, he could still say it, but couldn't have said, and what I would have hoped that he was leading with is like, look, Chris Cuomo is Chris Cuomo. We all know that he lied and he did the thing. He did the Fredo and his brother with the big Q-tip and whatever. But he's got a very unique perspective. And I don't care about, who's nice and this, that, and the other. And that's why I'm willing to vote for Trump, because he's not a nice guy, but he's going to do the job that he was hired for. And at Valuetainment, we want to have the conversations that nobody else is having. And Chris Cuomo is going to allow us to do that. We're not going to hit him with the kid gloves. He's going to take the hits while he's there, but we're going to have the conversations. If he had said that, all right, let's see it. But, well, no, he's actually a nice guy. My kids like him. I don't care. Shout out to Indie Film. What's good? Welcome to the party. Good to see you guys.
And I really get the feeling like he can't say certain things because he's afraid of the feminists.
I put something above that, though. I put his last name and his family above.
Yeah, well, I get that, though. I have total sympathy for Chris.
To me, that sounds like, yeah, but his name can make me money. Maybe that's not the way that he meant it. But with Guantech all over, hey, he's the salesman. That's what I just heard. Yeah, but the Cuomo name can get me money. That's what I heard. And if this is your first time here, I am a huge fan of PBD. We cover PBD all the time, sometimes a little too much because of how good the guests he gets and how well he is willing to hold them to account. But this ain't it. Again, we did skip to the end because I did want to make sure we did get to cover this part. So, we'll judge the rest of it by its own accord. But this ain't it. But I will say this is it. Shout out to the Funk Master General coming in hot with the $10 super chat. It's raining and thundering here, so Morty is terrified. I'm going to pull this down for the show. That's right. Every donation comes with a treat for my co-host Morty. He's terrified, but he will take the treats. Thank you, sir. Said Cuomo can't be trusted, and I still can't figure out how or why people consider PBD some kind of thought leader. Well, I will say that a large part of it is the guests that he has. That I mean, before I ever was pro or against PBD, it was just like, oh, okay, well, he's got people here. That's where it started. And then he definitely is, again, somebody who's willing to I don't know if you saw when Anthony Weiner was on, he held that man's feet to the fire. When Ron DeSantis was on, he made a fool of him. And so he's willing to do that. I don't know if thought leader is necessarily a word that I would use, but he's causing the important conversations to happen. And that's why I thought that would be his reasoning behind Cuomo. But I don't know. I'm trying. And all you're doing is saying, well, he's nice to me and he plays with my kids. So that's it. Crazy. Shout out again to the Funk Master General, the new sponsor of the stream. Thank you so very, very much. So even if Chris didn't apologize for what happened, would people forgive him? I mean, it depends on what he says. It depends on if he genuinely is like, well, guys, look, I thought that I was just the same way Tucker did. He's like, guys, I literally didn't know. I was in this this industry, and they tell you to do this, and it's one step after another, and I made horrible decisions, And now looking back, I can understand why all of you would think that's maybe not. But that's the only way that you can even start the conversation of, okay, let's listen to this guy. You might be right that everybody don't care. We have the poll here. Reading, should Cuomo have been hired by PBD? Not, do you like Cuomo? Should Cuomo have been hired? And yes, it's good for discussion. No, he's too far gone. Or 3, I'm still waiting to see it. And right now, 50% of you said nah, too far gone. And I mean, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I'm willing to again to see the conversations that can happen between, they're having the debate with Dave Smith on Friday, and we are definitely checking that out. And so when you have something like that, specifically an event to push, why not say that? That's why. Because without Chris Cuomo there, Dave Smith has no business talking for 3 hours about Rona on my platform. That's why. Well, it's the name. It's one thing over all else. It's the name. Brian says, this is the first time I've seen PBD not being straightforward. Crazy to see him obfuscate like this. I believe he has tremendous integrity. This is surprising me, honestly. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Now, I mean, I don't necessarily always agree with what PBD has to say, but you're right. He's usually straightforward and be like, nah, I don't like that. Or word up. Okay, I accept that. But I'm right. Yeah, this is surprising. And that tells you that he knows that there's no real good reason. He knows that he's just doing this for the money. And look, dude, it's fine. Just say, I don't know, he's a piece of shit, but he's going to make me lots of money, and a bunch of people are going to want to yell at him in my show. All right, but hey, let's go for it. But, well, he's good with my kids, and then he just jujitsu. And shut up. Shut up. What are you talking about? Real quick, guys, if you have not already, please do hit that like button. It is free and easy and helps out the channel so very, very.
I put his last name and his family above.
Yeah, well, I get that, though. I have
put
total
that as
sympathy
number
for
one.
Chris.
That's number one.
Well,
his father, his brother, I put that as number one. And I feel like if he comes out and fully flips, he gets that. And the other part for me is
What can I say? I respect that.
Yeah.
I do. That's
well.
The one thing you're not being a bitch for respecting your father's legacy or remaining close to your brother. Like you should.
What lie was that? I don't remember. I don't
do that. So I feel for him.
Right. And then there's the other part of, the school of thought of when you apologize, they will forever come after you. You should be careful to apologize. Never apologize.
What are you guys talking about? Didn't Tim Pool catch him in a lie, begging on people to forgive him? What can you expand a little bit? I must have missed that one.
Of thought of when you apologize, they will forever come after you. You should be careful to apologize. Never apologize. There's that community as well.
Who are those people? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Whoever's in your ear. Whoever
never apologize. You look like a fool if you don't
should not apologize. If they do, they will come after you for the rest of your life.
No, you should. Right. If you apologize for something that you didn't do wrong, if they bully you into apologizing for something that you didn't do wrong, then they will come after you for the rest of your life because they know you will apologize for things that you didn't do. But if you did it, then apologize. It's called being a man. It's called being a man. Damn, no likes on the Fuckmasters super chat? I don't like that. I don't like that. All right. I see how it is.
Cool if you don't apologize.
I won't be offended. They were not liking the video. This man's putting out money. You can't even like his damn thing.
Apologize. If they do, they will come after you for the rest of your life.
And you should apologize only when you mean it. That's the rule. Don't lie. So of course you never apologize. If you get caught up in some fake Me Too thing, like I should have been more sensitive to unhappy 39-year-old unmarried women. No.
What mistakes did you make that you apologize on?
Oh my God, me?
Give 3 of them.
And if you're talking about on Twitter, I definitely saw that because Tim tweeted out like the worst possible thing he could have done, and this is kind of what I'm basing what I'm saying about the ability to have conversations. That was essentially what PBD was saying in response. And it's just no. I mean, maybe I missed that part that they were banking on the forgiveness was what it was about, but clearly it's not working. Clearly it's not working.
No. What mistakes did you make that you apologize on?
Oh my God, me?
Give 3 of them.
Well, being drunk a lot,
okay.
Sorry, and I mean that. Supporting the
yeah, when about hosting the debate with Cuomo. Gotcha. Okay, It's yeah, gotcha. Yeah, they were saying, do you want to host it? And they're like, oh, we can't do it, or there's a scheduling mistake. And he was somebody asked him on Twitter about it, and he's like, I turned it down. And the people were like, well, what are you talking about? You didn't turn it down. You said there was a scheduling issue. He's like, yeah, that means turning it down. Like, what are you talking about? All right, I forgot about that. Thank you. Full as a reminder.
A lot.
Okay.
You know, oh my God, me?
Give 3 of them.
Well,
Assume he's watching
being
this.
drunk a lot,
Okay.
you know, sorry. And I mean that. Supporting the Iraq war, working for Bill Kristol, being used to attack Pat Buchanan, basically being used because when I was younger as a writer, because I was just not aware of the larger cross currents, and I didn't follow my own instincts. I followed orders. You know, those are the marks of a weak man. And
that is what Chris Cuomo needs to do. If we want to stop, I'm not saying it's going to be accepted, but if that is going to happen, that needs to be the first step. What he just did. And obviously, this isn't the first time he's talking about those things, so he doesn't need to be all dramatic about it. But Cuomo does. And depending on how he says and what he's willing to apologize for, then we can have the conversation. But until then, you are persona non grata. And as far as
my own instincts, I followed orders. You know, those are the marks of a weak man, and I'm embarrassed of that. And I would. By the way, I apologize all the time. As long as it's sincere, then you win. Lying makes you weak. Telling the truth makes you strong. It's super simple.
It really is. Lying makes you weak. Telling the truth makes you strong.
No, it's crazy. Check this out. So one day this is when all my content was on entrepreneurship, and we were running the top channel on YouTube for entrepreneurship. If you would have typed in entrepreneur, 50 videos pulls up on the search, half of them were ours. We just owned the word entrepreneur. Okay.
So what if you Googled entrepreneur PBD?
And that led into the consulting from BayDavid Consulting. You go to BayDavid.com or Connect, all that stuff. That's the entrepreneur side. We would look at what words in the titles would do best. Words, okay? So let's go through a couple of them. Rules, very good word for YouTube. 20 rules of whatever. 10 rules of whatever. So rules, for whatever reason, great word for YouTube. People want to get rules.
Hey, shout out to Guns and Cafe. Welcome to the party. Unfortunately, PBD is kind of capping and being a little bitch about Cuomo, but maybe he'll turn it around. Maybe he will turn it
for
around.
Whatever reason,
welcome.
Great word for YouTube. People want to get rules. 12 rules for life, Jordan Peterson. 20 rules for money, 7 million views on YouTube that I did 10 years ago. And people want to learn the rules of money. Basic videos. Nothing crazy about it. 20 rules for money. Okay. Another word, and I'm kind of going through this thing. As an entrepreneur, as a whatever. So, 7 keys to success as a parent, as an entrepreneur, as a journalist, as a doctor, as a student, as a whatever at the end of the title. Okay. So that end of the title triggers back as a student. I'm a student. Boom. That audience, it's an evergreen title. People keep coming back and watching it, right? These are words. You know what's one?
They are words. I'll give you that. They indeed are words. Whether they're sentences or complete thoughts, I don't think so. But indeed, they are words. Harley said that's not the first time PBD has done that to people. He did that to Muhammad too. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's definitely the again, bringing up shout out to Guamtech, always talking about the sales technique. There's pros and cons to that, because a good salesman is not somebody that you should trust. I mean, especially if they're trying to sell you something. So, the man knows how to be public facing. He's very, very deliberate. And so the fact that he's not giving the answers that we want to hear when it's on the table, there's a reason. I highly doubt that I had better PR for Chris Cuomo than PBD. I highly doubt that.
Boom. That audience, it's an evergreen title.
So again, this is all on the tail of, well, I apologize all the time.
Keep coming back and watching it, right? These are words. You know what's one of the most powerful words that we would put on titles?
Sorry?
Absolutely crush it. Mistakes.
Yeah.
10 mistakes I made. Okay. So now, running an insurance company, anytime you and I would go up and we would only talk about the things we did right, one of the worst speeches you give.
So real quick, let's if somebody can pull it up, maybe. But it was it may have been there's plausible deniability. But what happened was they were setting up the debate that's happening on Friday, and they asked Tim Pool if he wanted to debate Chris Cuomo, and he said no, I can't do that because I have my own show. So unless you're able to, fly me out on a private jet so that I could be there and do the show and then get back, then I'm not going to be able to do that. And they're like, well, we're not willing to do that. I'm like, okay, well, then we can't do it. So that was done. Then somebody else a random person on Twitter went to Tim. Hey, Tim, how come you didn't do this? And he said, I was offered. I turned it down. And PBD came in and like, whoa, you didn't turn it down. You didn't, and purposely obfuscated what was happening to try to. He's like, dude, I don't know what the beef is. I'm not and he showed the emails and everything. So it was. Is it possible that PBD with the Tim Pool thing thought that Tim was trying to big bro him or be like, I turned that shit down? Maybe. It's Twitter. It's text. You never know. But that should have been a text message before, he blew it up publicly. So Guns at Cafe said, my 2 cents. PBD hired him because Cuomo was part of a large international media corporation. PBD is building his media empire and needed inside baseball. I think he'll be betrayed. Only time will tell. I think, okay, then I'm sorry, but I think you're definitely right about the first part, and I hope he's not betrayed. But you're right. Only time will tell.
I would go up, and we would only talk about the things we did right. One of the worst speeches you give.
Of course.
Nobody feels they can do it. So what I would do is sometimes I would get my best guys, and some guys that have gone through some stuff, and let's just say their ego is not allowing it, and I'm picking the topics for my guys, and all our guys already know what this is all about. I would say you have 20 minutes at MGM Grand Arena. I want you to talk about the 10 biggest mistakes you made in your career. And they knew that would give me the smirk. Oh, shit, I'm going through it, right? So then we'd go to the event. And then there's ways you spin mistakes. Well, the mistakes I made is trust.
Listen to what he's saying right at this moment. Right at this very moment. There's ways that you spin mistakes. I'm telling you, you're giving away the game here. You're giving away the game here, PBD. I don't know what you think you're doing, but this is not ideal for you. It sounds like right at this very moment, you are trying to spin the mistake of bringing Cuomo onto your show.
There's ways you spin mistakes. Well, the mistakes I made is trusting people too much.
Exactly.
And it's always like,
caring too much.
I don't know if you care. Like,
I'm too good a person.
The mistake is always on the other person. Like, Diddy's apology. Hey, I never mentioned Cassie, never this, right?
Agree.
But I think
it's disgusting to watch that.
It's disgusting to watch that. But one of the most attractive qualities of a human being, there's a lot of qualities you look at like, I just don't like that guy. Man, I want to like you. I can't like you.
Yes.
You're annoying. One of the most attractive qualities of a human being is self-deprecation.
Of course.
When you can sit there and self-deprecate, laugh at yourself, make fun of yourself, the audience is like, what?
I wouldn't put it that way. I think what he's saying is the ability to be able to engage in self-deprecation. But if you're somebody who's just always, hey, aren't I such an asshole? Oh, aren't I so stupid? I don't think that's what he means. The ability, the humility to be able to self-deprecate is very different than being somebody who makes fun of yourself all the time.
And self-deprecate, laugh at yourself, make fun of yourself. The audience is like, what?
But why is that so appealing? Think it through.
Because none of us walk on water. We all make mistakes.
Because it telegraphs strength.
Yeah.
That's what strong people do. Who refuses to apologize? Who refuses to admit fault? Who refuses to admit being human, making a mistake? People who are so fragile, they can't admit it. Weak people hide their weaknesses. Strong people are happy to admit them because they're transparent. They've got nothing to hide. That's a sign of strength.
That's why I will always tell you guys the most shameful thing I ever did do was that 2016 or it was 2015 at the time. No, 2016. And I cast that vote for Hillary Clinton because I let the mainstream media, including Chris Cuomo, and I mean Tucker Carlson for that matter, let me believe that if Trump won the presidency, that the world would end. And I'm open about that because I want you guys to know that I'm not sitting here as some authority on life. I'm just a guy trying to figure shit out and telling you what I see. Completely agree with Tucker here.
Because they're transparent. They've got nothing to hide. That's a sign of strength. It's the surest sign of strength. In fact, it's the only sign of strength. So not apologizing diminishes you dramatically. You're fearful. That's why you can't apologize, right?
Yeah, hardly that. That's what I wasn't gonna, go too far down into this, but it's like it's not really up for debate whether CNN was misleading people. He told, they did the thing where he came out of the basement. He's like, "Oh, this is the first time," but there was the video. Did you call? Or somebody called him Fredo or whatever. That like this isn't a question. It is very, 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 very well documented that he lied. And whether it was because he was such an evil genius that he wanted to manipulate the American people, or if he was just a hired gun, just saying whatever was on the teleprompter. Either way, he lied. Funkmaster said, "PBG just described how I feel about him." Oof, full circle, full circle.
Dramatically, you're fearful. That's why you can't apologize, right?
Yeah, but he's got to, again.
And I'm not talking about Chris specifically, who I really like, and I will say just to be very clear again, if he can't fully apologize for the things he said that were demonstrably wrong because he doesn't want to dishonor the memory of his father,
right,
or alienate his brother, I respect that. I do.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know enough about his father to understand how. Okay, so let's take a detour. Oh, that's not what I want to do. That is not what I want. No, I had my thing all perfect. Why? God damn it! All right, hold on 1 second here. Whatever. Okay, moving on. What was I just doing? No, I want the. Mario Matthew. All right, let's see who this motherfucker was. Died in 2015. American lawyer. 52nd governor of New York for 3 terms. 83 to 94. Okay. Liberal views. So what? I don't. Does anybody know why his father being what was it, mayor, governor, or whatever, would prevent him from saying that the lies that I told? Like, what does that have to do with it? What does that have to do with it? Yeah, like I don't understand the connection. Brian says Musk fired Don Lemon's ass as soon as he figured out that first X interview. PBD should have taken a lesson, perhaps. Well, I definitely think that there is, like, I mean, there's a difference between a Don Lemon and a Chris Cuomo. There. Give me a second here. If I can get this, then it's gonna piss me off. But all right, cross your fingers. It should work. Yeah, there we go. Okay, sorry. I think Don Lemon, just because they're both from CNN, I don't think that necessarily
it's worth
that they're both equally stupid. I think Don Lemon is just a very dumb person. I don't think Chris Cuomo is a dumb person, but I think he's a bad person. So, kinda, but I still wouldn't have hired either one of them. Buckmaster General said they act like his father was some great leader. He was meh. And yeah, even if he was some great leader, how does that prevent you from taking accountability for the shit that you did wrong? I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, there's definitely a difference. Definitely. Did you guys see that video I put out with Don Lemon on with the Nelk boys? Even the Nelk boys made him look stupid. Oh my God, Don Lemon is something else.
Right.
Or alienate his brother. I respect that. I do.
Yeah.
It's worth wrecking your career to remain loyal to your family.
You know what we're on the same page there.
I mean, unless we're talking not about his father, but about his brother. And the main thing, people aren't mad that his brother murdered thousands of people by sending them to the nursing homes. That's not, people don't care about that. What they care about is the essay. And I mean, they're both really bad, but if I had to pick, I would say killing millions, well, I don't know how many, but hundreds of thousands of people, or at least thousands. Let's say at least 1,000 people died because of Andrew Cuomo. This is all just a giant cope. I don't get it. It's not making sense. It's not making sense. And I don't know why Tucker was like, well, if that's why, then that makes sense. What? Well, explain it to us. Explain it to us. If you guys get it, then you're not doing a good job of disseminating information. That wouldn't be a very fun show if you two people just knew stuff and like, hey, you know the thing, right? Yeah, oh yeah. I know, you know what I'm talking. Yeah. All right, thanks, guys. What are you talking about?
Here's what I learned. Whoever you speak to, the last 3 people you speak to before you go to sleep have the most influence over you. The last 3 people you speak to before you go to sleep.
What if it's a dog?
Well, that's good influence then.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
very good
In my
listening.
case,
One of
every
mine
night
is. One of
it's a
mine
dog.
is a very intimidating, massive. I don't know if you're into big dogs. I have a 15-pound Shih Tzu, extremely intimidating. But this guy loves me, and he makes me feel very confident. By the way,
That's what matters.
he believes in me,
Yes.
and that's where I get my.
It's the
source
love,
of
no matter how
confidence.
embarrassing the dog, as long as he.
Shout out to Morty. Shout out to all the little lovey papa.
He's
Loves you,
amazing
though.
to me.
That's
He's
what
been my
matters.
#1 therapist for 15 years. But so when you look at the last
Yeah, Morty's 15 as well. Well, not quite. He's gonna be 15 in August.
3 people you speak to, I can't take inventory of that. But who are you talking? What do you think? What do you think? Sometimes you want to go through somebody and ask, what do you think? Maybe it's your wife. Maybe it's your brother. Maybe it's a former mentor. Maybe it's a father. Maybe whoever your what do you think community is the reason why you're making the decision the way that you are.
That's for sure.
The better the
What?
mentor. Maybe it's a father. Maybe whoever your what do you think community is the reason why you're making the decision the way that you are.
That's for sure.
Okay, so basically, just the people who are going to care about what do you think about lunch? Those are the people that I'm going to be concerned with what they.
The better the what do you think community you have, the better way you handle conflicts. I don't know the what do you think community is for Chris.
So Harley says, I do remember what Cuomo did during that time. I remember all of the media during that time. All of them did a horrible job. But if they came forward and said we did wrong, we can forgive them, even if we don't forget. Exactly. It's not as if they are lying to, well, kind of. I was going to say it's not like they're continuing to lie to maintain the idea that they've been right this entire time and therefore you should still listen to them. But that's actually wrong because there's a lot of people who think they're right the whole time and therefore they can't just say, oh, well, we were wrong, because then the people who already trust them thinking they were right be like, wait, we just listened to you for 3 years and you were wrong. Why should we listen to you now? Because those are the dumb people who won't understand. Well, because we're being honest. And again, I don't know how far it would go, but if we are having this conversation, that is the conversation. That an apology is step number 1. Funkmaster said his brother's a shitbag too. Yeah, Tucker's been friends with them for decades, and that's why he's behaving like this. Inside baseball, it's all a big club. It's all a big club. You think that CNN and Fox News didn't have dinner together? Come on.
The better.
This is a good reminder. This is a good reminder that I mean, PBD as well, but this is a good reminder that Tucker is still Tucker. Tucker is still the guy who was wearing bow ties and doing all the stuff that he just said he apologized for. Fine, he apologized for it, but like Harley said, we can forgive even if we don't forget. So let's not forget. In the same way that we're talking about Chris Cuomo, we're talking about Andrew Cuomo. Let's not forget that there's things like that about PBD. There's things like that about Tucker as well. Does it mean that we can't listen to these people? No. Does it mean that we can't find value from their conversations? Of course not. But that's why we want to remember. Bryant said Cuomo did seem a little apologetic in his Tucker interview. A little is too late. Too little, too late. Too little, too late. You should have been very apologetic and openly
making the decision the way that you are.
That's for sure.
The better the what do you think community you have, the better way you handle conflicts. I don't know the what do you think community is for Chris.
That's a really smart point. What's your relationship with him now? You're in a business.
Especially they're saying who is looking to Chris Cuomo and being like, I want to know what he thinks. So who is Chris Cuomo trying to impress, so to speak?
That's a really smart point. What's your relationship with him now? You're in a business relationship, right?
We're doing a debate next. Dave Smith called him out, and I know you're a Dave guy. I like Dave a lot. Dave's a talent.
Yeah, I love Dave.
Yeah, Dave's I think he's a star that can be a superstar in the right environment. That guy has what it takes to really strive.
So this is next Friday, and it's going to be 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern, I believe. We are going to do the normal show. So if you, what I would suggest, depending on how you want to consume the debate, is to watch it on their channel, just watch it through, and then at 8 switch over to my show, and we'll be breaking it down like normal. So obviously, we'll be doing it normal. If you want to watch it all the way through, I'm going to be stopping and starting and saying this and that and whatever. But I think that's the best way to do it. And there ain't no way we ain't covering that. That is going to be fire.
Star that can be a superstar in the right environment. That guy has what it takes to really strive. Anybody that gets a chance to sign him, they should. And if he kind of signs with somebody long-term, 5 years, he finds a way.
Should he be a comedian or a political commentator?
Political commentator.
I think he cares about
who's funny
policies more than comedy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if he would say that, but that's good to put on a resume.
I think, he likes comedy. I think that's his creative side, but he has a serious side that he needs to find a way to tap into it. I don't know what his vision is. He knows what he wants to do with his life. But Dave and Chris will be having a Friday night debate at our comedy club Cigar Lounge in Fort Lauderdale, May 31st, 6 to 9 p.m. Live audience.
Who's going to win?
Dave, obviously. There is not one thing that Chris could say other than, Dave, you've been right about everything. And the only reason I agreed to do this was so you can pull down your pants and I can kiss your Jew ass. That's the only thing.
Whoever is straight up and doesn't play politics.
It's asymmetrical though, because Chris has, and I like them both. But first
Very
of all,
high
Dave is
stakes.
a formidable debate opponent.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
For real.
Yeah.
And very smart as a debater. I can say that guy is good. But second, Dave can say whatever he wants. He's not, you know what I mean? He's already made his break with,
That's right.
Family members who disagree with him or whatever. But
Right. And he's also that guy that is not, cookie cutter. He's part of the Legion of Skanks. He's a stand-up comedian. He goes on tour with Ari Shaffir and Louis J. Gomez. So there's no pretense about, oh, well, that's not, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but that's, what's the word I'm looking for? Like professional or whatever. I don't think he has nothing that he needs to satisfy. He could just be himself. Funkmaster said he's trying to impress himself. He's ruined, so he read the room and switched sides to simply to make a living. The only way he knows how. Are we talking Cuomo or PBD? Trying to impress himself. He's ruined, so he read the room and switched sides simply to make a living. The only way he knows how. If that's Cuomo, then I completely agree.
he's already made his break with,
That's right.
Family members who disagree with him or whatever, but he's totally unencumbered. And Chris is from a very famous family, brother and dad were governor of the state of New York. It's like, it's hard.
I can tell you every day I visualize people calling him, telling him not to do it. Every single day.
Smart people.
Every day, someone's telling them don't do the podcast in their own creative way. And I said this when I announced it. Okay. So when it happens, the side of the establishment that doesn't want all this, the CDC guy comes out and you saw what he said. Hey, did you guys do any kind of gain of function? Rand Paul is asking Fauci 2021. No, we didn't do any. There was no such thing of gain of function.
Senator Paul, you don't know what you're talking about, okay? This is a complete fabrication. We did not do any gain of function, okay? We were just doing testing on the function to see if we could make it more. Okay, you don't know what you're talking about.
Fauci 2021. No, we didn't do any. There was no such thing of gain of function. And then there's the new guy.
Wasn't there no? No, it was directed evolution.
The CDC guy did. I don't know if you saw this or not. Is there any such a, well, in the general, way of looking at this, yes, there was gain of function. No, it's not general or not. Was there or was there not? Yes, there was. You think that community wants more eyeballs going to this? No. So
why is no one in prison? I mean, if you're doing gain of function research, in other words, if you're trying to make dangerous viruses more infectious and more dangerous in a world with a demonstrated history of lab leaks, thank you, Lyme disease, and all the rest that we know COVID have come from labs. Like you're gambling with the lives of millions of people. Like, why should you be allowed to do that?
Not even just the lives of all of these people, but the livelihood of everybody who lost their job, who lost their business, who got fired from the police department or whatever. All of those people as well. All of those people were gravely affected. But you're just doing your job, right?
If they're trying to put Trump in prison for the rest of his life on a documents charge, you brought home documents that are technically classified, but the guys doing gain of fucking function research are walking free? Like, what?
How bad do you want to know to
Tell 'em.
investigate those people?
Investigate. I mean, I think we know.
Oh,
Yeah, right? And there's not much to investigate. There's not much left to investigate.
But the point is to hold them accountable to it, right?
Yes.
How bad?
Well,
do
it's
you
just absolutely crazy. We're mad at, guys with nose rings protesting
Right,
outside Columbia. I mean, whatever. I'm not on their side, but like, who cares, actually?
But the point, the reason why I'm asking you the question is, in order for that to happen, if the establishment from the left or the right is in office, you will never find out, ever find out. This is why we need more guys from the anti-establishment side to say,
Yeah, like Chris Cuomo.
I'm really curious to the point where I'm going to go in there and find
Well,
out.
how would you assess Bobby Kennedy? What's your...
I think Bobby Kennedy is a form of anti-establishment. And if I'm able to give people a score of reason,
All right,
okay,
that's
and a
better
true
way-
believer.
That's a better.
So
way to
meaning,
give it.
can this guy truly reason? So you got family pride and stuff that's, part of your legacy. And he's got what the most powerful last name on the left. I think that's way ahead of
Cuomo? So why didn't you hire RFK? I don't know that you didn't talk to him. I'm just saying, if you're looking for a powerful name that can reason and anti-establishment and whatever, maybe go to the Kennedys before the Cuomos.
your legacy. And he's got what the most powerful last name on the left. I think that's way ahead of Cuomo's. It's Kennedy. There is no level of Kennedy,
Yes.
right? Okay. Cream of the crop at that level. So what's his score
didn't
for
have
being
enough
able to
money.
reason? I think it's pretty high. I give him a high score for reasoning. On the podcast that we did together was like a town hall. People are asking questions. I asked him, I said, so what do you stand with, puberty blockers and transgender and all this stuff? I said, honestly, I haven't done enough research to be for or against it. I said, Bobby, you can't say that.
I was gonna say, it's the place where I'm not sure yet. That's gone. You have to know. This is ignorance at that point.
Because it's not true.
And by the way, you know what he said though? If you posted the video, which went viral this 2 weeks ago, people were sharing it all over the place on Twitter. On the bottom, he said he changed his position on this 4 months ago and no longer supports it. Great. Guess what? That's a form of progress reason you're making that you could say, I was wrong. Here's where I stand with this now. Okay. All right. No problem. Vaccine. I'm sure you read the Fauci book he wrote. An absolute masterpiece of a book he writes. Okay. So he's got the COVID community.
You know what? I would actually be. I would be interested. I think there's got to be a way to download his audiobook without paying him any money. Because I'd genuinely be interested to get inside that man's head and just see, like, are you that evil, or are you that stupid, or are you that weak, or what is it? What is your fatal flaw that makes you such a horrible, horrible person?
Masterpiece of a book he writes. Okay, so he's got the COVID community, the vaccine community that didn't want to be forced to take it, who don't like Fauci. He's got that side. I put him as an anti-establishment, but I still think he's got a lot of stuff that's on the left as a Democrat, even though he's an independent. But I think he's a necessary voice. I do think he's going to get in the way, though,
Of
Trump.
What? How is he going to get in the way of Trump? There's no way that RFK is taking more Trump votes than Biden votes. Actually, let's do. I want to ask you guys. Because I don't think. Who is RFK taking more votes from? I know you're not supposed to end a sentence in preposition, but I don't care. It's my show. I'll do what I want. Biden or Trump? Let me see what y'all think.
I think he's a necessary voice. I do think he's going to get in the way, though,
of
Trump.
So the Trump people, I was talking to someone in his orbit.
No, obviously, I'm not saying that he's not going to take any votes from Trump, but
several months ago, and my instinct was exactly what you just said. If you're against the status quo, you're by definition not voting for Joe Biden. So Kennedy takes, in other words, there's nobody who's choosing between Joe Biden and Bobby Kennedy. It's just that person doesn't exist. And so by definition, it's going to take from Trump. And the response I got was, oh, he was really liberal on this, that, and the other thing, or is really liberal. And okay. But big picture, it seemed obvious to me he was going to hurt Trump.
There's no question about it.
Right.
There's no question. So the part which.
But I think there's a lot more people, like, if we were to say, maybe, if we're looking at the landscape and we're saying of the people who have already decided who they're going to vote for, that might be persuaded to change that to RFK. So somebody said, well, I'm voting for Biden, but I might change to RFK, or I'm voting for Trump, but I might switch. Shout out to Anne-Marie over on X. Welcome. Yeah, so Biden, the never Trumpers that have TDS don't like Biden either. Yeah, and so maybe there, because of the landscape, there's a lot more people than usual who are just like, I'm gonna sit out, and of those people, maybe a lot more of the undecided people will go to RFK. But though that's not taking votes from Biden or Trump, because they're already not gonna vote. So I think it's retarded to think RFK takes more votes from Trump. I mean, yeah, and you guys seem to agree. I mean, all right, I just wanted to make sure I'm not going crazy. I just want to make sure I'm not going crazy.
There's no question about it.
Right.
There's no question. So the part which is kind of weird is when,
yeah, but memory doesn't work that well. Years ago, what happened years ago doesn't exist when you can update it with a new slogan or whatever. Very few people pay that close attention to remember what one person said years ago. Now, okay, granted, it's not like he hasn't been, talking all about the vaccines ever since. But I think that, again, the TDS is so bad. So you have TDS on one hand. You have the fact that people don't like Biden. They were promised that, because this is different than Hillary and Trump. Because speaking as somebody who did vote for Hillary in an existential manner, there was no Trump presidency to see like, oh, okay, well, that was bad. I would prefer somebody else, but, it's not going to be the end of the world. We didn't have that. And so it was a lot more reasonable to think, oh, it's going to start World War III and it's going to be the worst thing ever. Now we've already had a Trump presidency. And so I just don't think that maybe the left denounced him. But there's a lot of people who are not on the left who are anti-Trump. And so, again, that's what I'm saying. For those people, maybe more people would vote for RFK than we're giving credit for. But I think a lot of the people who would vote for RFK are people who are planning on abstaining. Hey, shout out to Iridium Kush. Welcome. Long time no see. Always good to see you, brother. Welcome to the party.
Right. There's no question. So the part which is kind of weird is when Biden's camp doesn't want to give him protection, doesn't want to put him on the stage. Again, this goes back to me wondering, either you have something up your sleeves or you really think you have such an October surprise that you're going to leak to the world that Bobby's going to step out like the way they did with Herman Cain. 999. Oh, I'm going to have to pause my campaign. So maybe there is something that you and I don't know about.
I was going to say that it's probably just as simple as they know that any moment that Biden is in the position to open his mouth is bad for Biden. I think that's not controversial to say. So the less opportunities they give for Biden to mess up, the better it is for Biden.
What's going to come out? The guy's been on for a long time, 69, 70-year-old guy, family, girls, good looking, accolades, background. What are they hanging on to that they're not leaking yet? I don't know. So why are they not afraid of the guy? And why are they? These are all things that I wonder on what the left has, the establishment has, that they know they're going to.
Maybe they're just dumb. They're dumber than we think.
I think they're more deceptive than you think.
Well, they're definitely more deceptive.
Yeah, I think they're.
But maybe they believe their own bullshit. I mean, the peril of huffing your own fumes, of like convincing yourself that Kamala Harris is like impressive or something, or that Biden's not senile. Like, I think people are capable of.
You think that's what it is, though? Or you think it's more like it's an easier person to control? I mean, if you look at people who raise money, right? If you go do a case study of people that ran for president, who are our top four?
Who's easier to control than a guy who literally doesn't know what's going on?
Non-establishment candidates of the last 70 years. Okay. Kennedy, partially Reagan, Trump, and then who else you got? That's non-establishment last 6 years. Okay, Ross Perot. That's right. Ross Perot got to what, 19 points. Reagan, I think 9.6% of the funding for him running for office was his own money. I think was that number.
I have PTSD because of Ross Perot. Okay. I have PTSD because of Ross Perot. My middle name is Ross. And for a long time, I didn't like that name. and my brother would incessantly call me either Diana Ross or Ross Perot. And I didn't know who Ross Perot was, and he made me cry all the time. Fucking Ross Perot, man. Brian said a lot of the far left were against vaccines before the pandemic. Pretty sure that hasn't changed. That's a good point. Harley said, I don't see people picking RFK over Biden. I can see people picking him over Trump, though. Look at the Nikki Haley situation. All right, well, I mean, and we do have our who is RFK taking more votes from? The poll is at 50-50. So maybe that's my bias showing. I don't know. And the left is that retarded. They really are, aren't they? They really are.
9.6% of the funding for him running for office was his own money, I think. Was that number? Hillary Clinton, 100% donor funded. Biden, pretty much 100%. John F. Kennedy's father, Joseph, I think put 40 or 50% of it. Trump, you know how much of it was his in 2016? Obama needed other people's. Everybody needed other people's money. So whoever that needs other people's money
except Vivek
is controlled by the other people,
of
which
course.
is the ideal candidate. So Kamala,
which is why we should have had Vivek.
For them, is like that is the ideal person for them because they can control and say, hey, check mark. For the rest of your life, your Wikipedia is going to say vice president. Congratulations to you. Legacy cemented. We'll make a documentary for you, give you a Medal of Honor. You're good to go. Amazing. Go make some documentaries and go to, whatever the shows are on, and you're going to be famous. Good for you, right?
Hey, shout out to the Be This Frequency. Welcome to the party. I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that. I don't think so. No, I mean, I couldn't tell you what Ross Perot even sounds like. I just hear that name and I hear my brother be like, haha, you're Ross Perot. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. Stop making fun of me. What year did he run? That must have been, oh, is it, yeah. 92? Yeah. 92. Let's get who's it? Dana Carvey. Just give me the thing.
Please. Now
Hold on there. Is that what you want? Huh? Is that what you require? All right, now.
Now, this is SNL, so we can't play the whole thing, obviously. But.
Now, let's have it your way. Now, imagine, if you will, that you were a father. Now, imagine the nausea you would feel seeing a picture of your daughter on the eve of her wedding, your own flesh and blood altered in this sick fashion. Take a look.
All right. Shout out to Dana Carvey. Yeah, again, we can't play too long. They will definitely copyright claim that. But good call. Deep cut. All right, let's dive back in here.
Documentaries and go to, whatever the shows are on, and you're going to be famous. Good for you, right? That's gone. But to me, a part of it, when they're looking at Kamala's or Biden, that's their favorite types of candiades. They don't like RFKs. Are you kidding?
But she's not. I mean, I think it's fair to say she's not electable on her own.
No, she's not.
So if you had
they together are barely electable.
to get her out of the way, Biden obviously incapacitated by mental decline,
And I mean, actually, a lot of people would say they weren't.
and Kamala repugnant as a person. How do you fix that?
For this or 2028? For what?
this.
There's only one person you can do it with. Only one person.
Who?
It's only Michelle. There's nobody else you can do it with. Let's play it out. Okay.
All right. So let's go with the poll ends up 60-40, saying more votes from Biden. So now the real big question is, how do I want to phrase it? Will Biden be the nominee? I'm not. We'll get into who, whether it's gonna be Big Mike or somebody else. But will Biden be the nominee? And keep in mind that the debate that they have set is before the DNC convention. It's before I think that's in August or July or something, and the debate is in June or whatever it is. Never happened before. So keep that in mind. Watch the. Yeah, actually, we should do that, right? We gotta get a side by side.
I believe that there is so much waste around here. And again, every time you get into, I'm the only guy that talks numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. Nobody else will even talk about it. Like I've said, it's like a crazy ant in the basement. Everybody knows she's there, but nobody talks about her. I'm talking about it. Then I can talk, with endless numbers about it. And then when I finish, typically the establishment press said, he didn't tell us enough. I just break up. Nobody else said anything.
Are you guys going to keep asking these asinine questions till you see some dirty pictures? Is that what you want? Huh? Is that what you require? All right. Now let's have it your way. Now imagine, if you will, that you were a father. Now imagine the nausea you would feel seeing a...
And I haven't said enough. Let me just talk in general terms today, since no matter how many numbers I give the press right now, it doesn't satisfy them. Number one, we cannot spend our children's money. We are looking on the edge of a revolution of young people who are starting to realize that we, our generation, had put them $4 trillion in debt. And they don't like it, and they shouldn't.
Facts. Yo, I like Ross Perot now. I like him now. I mean, my brother, he ruined my perception of who Ross Perot could be. Harley said, yeah, there's nobody else to pick from. There's Gavin Newsom. There's Big Mike. There's Pete Buttigieg. There's people. There's definitely people. And you see how quickly the left can just coalesce around the same exact thing. If they say, okay, we're going with this now, it's not like they have to convince everybody. It's, oh, that's what we're doing now? Oh, okay, that's what we're doing now. It's not like they're right. They weren't going to have to fight for it. They're just going to have to determine that's what we're doing now. And if Phenom said Ross was the best choice in 92. I thought HW would follow in Reagan's footsteps. And Funkmaster said he was smart. So I shouldn't have been offended all the time. I should have been like, yeah, you wish you were related to Ross Perot. Perot? Gotcha. Issues. Somebody's got issues.
Only one person.
Who?
It's only Michelle. There's nobody else who can do it. Let's play it out. Okay, let's play it out.
You don't think she's more disgusting?
No, to the left, she is the number one person.
I agree that she's not more disgusting to the general public. But what a beautiful question. What a beautiful, beautiful question.
You don't think she's more disgusting?
No, to the left, she is the number one person on the leaders bulletin. She's the number one draft pick for the left, maybe even ahead of Newsom, Michelle. But let me, again, my opinion, I could be wrong. I'm just giving you my POV on this. So, okay. So let's play it. You get rid of Kamala and you put in Newsom, which they would love to have Newsom as a VP. And then you transition out. Well, Biden's going to be stepping down June of 2025. Newsom's now the president. What an easy way of getting Newsom elected. The easiest way of getting Newsom elected is bring him in. But okay.
And you guys have heard Tim Pool's, super dramatic thing that he's talking about how they would get Gavin Newsom in there, right? Give me a yes or no if you've seen that. Shout out to Canna I'm bad with names, but I'm gonna call you Canna because I love the cannabis. Welcome to the party. Say wrong. Which part is wrong? Which part is wrong? Brian said Michelle hates the spotlight. According to people who have been around her, she won't want to run. I don't think. I mean, that's adorable. That's adorable. That it's like she would have that kind of choice. The amount of money that has come from the DNC and the DNC donors and to the Obama family to act as if they have a choice. That is hilarious. That is hilarious.
An easy way of getting Newsom elected. The easiest way of getting Newsom elected is bring him in. But okay, you announce Kamala is stepping down. Great. What ammunition do you give to the greatest troll of all time on the other side to call you racist? It's done. What's Trump going to do if you get rid of Kamala and put Newsom in? Look what they did. All they talk about is female power and blacks and all this stuff. They put her back on the bus and they replaced her with Newsom. Shame on the Democrats. They're the most racist. I mean, can't you already see it? Easy playbook for them, right? So, but if they bring in, instead of Kamala, Kamala comes in and there's not enough time for a Supreme Court justice type of a position. Let's say Kamala comes in behind closed doors.
Okay, I think this is it.
But he could be president from jail, theoretically, right?
Yeah, and he could pardon himself.
And if he gets convicted, they can take his name off the ballot, and then a lot of people will just vote R, and they won't even think twice about who's on the ballot or not.
So a bunch of people will write him in, split the vote.
Yep.
This I don't know if this is it, but this is saying how Gavin Newsom could replace Joe Biden,
and then you end up with Newsom as president.
I think that's a strong possibility.
Have you guys heard my theory? I mentioned the past couple days.
No, what is it?
Gavin Newsom is campaigning with Joe Biden. And Joe Biden has like a heart attack or something. Gavin Newsom runs at full speed on the stage, rolls up his sleeves and does CPR on Biden,
And that would be funny.
screams for help. And then what happens? Biden either is okay or incapacitated. Gavin Newsom then does every press round where they're like, tell us what it was like when you ran out to save the president's life. How do you get Gavin Newsom above Joe Biden in the polls, above Kamala Harris? How do you replace Biden with Gavin Newsom? How do you replace him without overstepping or insulting Kamala Harris and you know, the woke crowd? Gavin Newsom saving the life of Joe Biden.
Damn. I'm not saying it's reasonable. I'm saying it could happen. I'm saying it could happen. Shout out to JL. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? Just throwing strays for no reason. Yeah, damn.
Kamala comes in, and there's not enough time for a Supreme Court justice type of a position. But say Kamala comes in behind closed doors. Say, Kamala, you come out.
He was being facetious, guys. It wasn't a.
And you say something's going on with the family. Something happened.
I don't think she has a family, does she?
Cancer scare, whatever. Something's going on. Cancer scare is the easiest one. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Zippy DSM Lee in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party.
Because cancer, everyone's going like, oh my God, you know, and hey, God willing, we were able to avoid a chemotherapy and she didn't have to go through it. And this is so, thank you for all your prayers that none of this stuff happened. And you know, they came to me and we were talking, and as a collective, I think Newsom is the most qualified. That's going to be problematic. But if you bring Michelle in, that's easy. It's a very easy fit to bring her in. The question then becomes, does Michelle want to be a VP? Is her ego a VP person? Does she want to come out of the life?
Can I intercede for 1 sec? So she's never had a real job in her.
I guarantee you. Wait, I guarantee you that's not what happened. I guarantee you, if it was the update, if you hold down the comma, because I know you have an Android, hold down the comma, and that's where your voice to text is. Yes, he is Iranian, I believe. Pretty sure, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's Iranian.
Can I?
Hey, shout out to Zippy the Strange over with the Rumble rant. Let's give our boy. Eat it. There you go. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Zippy says AOC and Harris 2024, the period campaign. Rivers of blood flow. Place Slayer. That's interesting. AOC Harris. I don't think that would go very far, though. I don't think that would go very far. Because Brian was saying they can sell Yang to their younger voters. I don't think so. I don't think so because I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think they can sell Yang to the younger voters? Because I remember in 2016 being kind of sold on Andrew Yang, but it was very it didn't take a lot of digging. Remember, this is the time when I'm thinking, oh, I'm getting all my information because I'm watching Fox News, CNN, and MSNBC. So that's the level of depth that I'm operating at. And so I was into Yang. I was like, oh yeah, UBI. Like, of course, everybody's job's going to go away. How are they going to pay for all this? But again, it didn't take too much. It didn't take too much to be like, oh, okay, this doesn't work. That being said, there is a lot more hopelessness, I think, in the younger generations. But I don't know. I don't know if he can. It sounds like a drug. Got that yang. We got that yin yang. You know what I mean? Oh, again with Zippy the Strange. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Blessing me. Blessing me. There you go. See, that's what the thunder does to him. This is what the thunder does to him. So he said anything they do will fail. AOC and Harris has the woke vote. All 5 of them. Rivers of blood. Kenna said the biggest voter block every year is non-voters. Yep. And I do agree that UBI is an inevitability, but not anytime soon. Not anytime soon. There's a lot of in-between steps before that is the answer. So I do agree, though. And that's why originally in 2015 and 2016, I was like, I think this guy is making sense. But obviously, no. not there yet. It is an inevitability, but like maybe 100 years from now, 50 years from now, but not anytime soon. And it's going to be something that we would roll out over 10, 15, 25 years. So like the idea like, okay, I'm just going to give everybody $1,000 now. That's not politics.
Michelle want to be a VP? Is her ego a VP person? Does she want to come out of the life?
Can I intercede for 1 sec? So she's never had a real job in her life. She's sorry.
This is Michelle or Kamala?
Yeah, Michelle.
Okay.
She's like has nothing in common with any American. She's nasty. She's a hater. Clearly, she's utterly ungrateful for every special advantage she's been given her entirely. She went to Princeton on a free ride, and she's mad at Princeton. Really? I mean, everything about her is like mediocre, mean, dumb, and not a single achievement in her entire life other than marrying this guy in a fake marriage. So,
ooh, going in on her. Funkmaster General said, I'm pretty sure the libertarians just assured themselves the progressive vote. Yeah, what's that guy's name? Chase something or another, who's like a progressive leftist. And that's the issue, is that the Libertarian Party is in such shambles. But I think that, you know, it was good that the Mises Caucus was able to take over, and people like Andrew McArdle and Dave Smith were big names. But it's clear that there was a lot of this to fight, and they didn't come out with I don't know what the other guy, I don't even know what the other guy's name was. But yeah, within the Libertarian Party, it was like Chase Alamo. Yeah, he's like, you know, he's got like the pride mask and everything. And then the other guy was more in the you know, the type of libertarian that we would like. But that's the range of libertarianism, which is why the Libertarian Party is not in a place to be making, acting as if they have a place on the stage. They're in the position that, oh, Donald Trump is coming to talk to us. Let's see if we can get him to do what we want so we can throw our support behind him. Instead, they vote for Chase Olive Oil. Oh, my goodness. Shout out again to Zippy the Assembly. Feeding my baby boy. Feeding my baby boy. Thank you so much. Said triple threat, baby. He said, I mean, UBI is kind of here already. Is that the same thing you hear? UBI is kind of here already. They will have to destroy and rebuild Social Security and all healthcare. Yep. Who's up for Kanye? Not me. But better than Biden, right? Canna, is it Canna Latour? Is that how you say it? Canna Latour? Canna Latour? I don't know. I'm trying. We're going to Canada until then. The Libertarian Party is a joke. Bingo. They booed candidates that agreed that we need driver's licenses. Yeah, that is the epitome of the Libertarian Party. Just making perfect the enemy of good. Hey, there we go. I got it. Now I lost it. Canna Latour. Canna. It's Canna. We'll work on it. Zippy said, well, if they got rid of social aid, then drag queen story hour, ablations, is that supposed to be abortions, and illegal immigration would go away overnight. I don't know if it's that simple, but, you know, it's a move in the right direction. It's definitely a move in the right direction.
Not a single achievement in her entire life other than marrying this guy in a fake marriage. So, like, on what grounds could that person run the country?
Don't be naive, Tucker. You're talking about women.
You're being
super naive. Are you kidding me? Do you know which one of these political figures?
I mean, to be fair, what was Trump's resume in terms of politics? Best president of my lifetime. Had zero political resume. Just saying.
You're being super naive. Are you kidding me? Do you know which one of these political figures sold 36 million copies of her book? One person.
Her book about what?
It doesn't matter.
More whining from a rich lady?
36 million people bought her book, bro. Do you realize like the amount of influence this?
But let's just pause and consider that decision. You're walking through Barnes and Noble or Walmart, and you see Michelle Obama's book for sale.
Yep.
What causes you to buy something like that?
Oh my God, Michelle Obama. You remember Obama? I love Obama. And like things are so good. And like now it's so racist. That is a level of thought of somebody who is buying Michelle Obama's book. What could she, he's right. What could she possibly have to say other than, hey, this is what it's like to fuck the president of the United States. My whole job was to get kids not fat, and then the sugar companies were like, ooh, I don't know about all that. How about you just do some jump roping and stuff? I'm like, come on. And Holly's like, it makes sense. Most libertarians believe that driver licenses are unconstitutional. Right. But do you think that it makes sense to make that the reason why you're not going to be on a main stage? No, that doesn't make any sense. What makes sense is gradual change towards your ideal. Kenna said, well, she does have accomplishments. I feel like this is a setup.
Obama's book for sale.
Yep.
What causes you to buy something like that?
You talking from your perspective?
Any
or-
person, like, this is a book that she not only didn't write, but probably hasn't read. Like, why would you buy something? And then you have Michelle Obama's name, like, in your house.
Yeah.
Like, what signal are you sending? Like, what could possibly compel you to do something like that?
You can say all that you want.
No, but it's true. Like, what is that?
But that's not the point. The point is, she is a rock star for the left. She is a rock star for the left. She'll be edified.
And Zippy DSM Lee is a rock star for this channel. We got another Rumble rant. Thank you. So let me put the chat on the big screen, on the tiny screen. Now I can see spelling errors. I see dead people. That's the moonshine talking. Hey, dilly to that. Thank you so very, very much. I thought you were going to come out with something out there. What? Oh, shit, I didn't move my whole desk. I don't do that. What are her accomplishments? I'm not saying she's done nothing, but I just, off the top of my head, I don't know any accomplishments. What accomplishments?
Is a rock star for the left. She is a rock star for the left. She'll be edified and glorified by everybody.
They love anything that's ugly and bad and mediocre,
People
don't they?
have different tastes, man.
No, but that's
Some
not
people
even a
like that,
taste.
though,
It's
you
like,
know,
look, you.
That's a good point. It's not different tastes. It's a perversion of the idea of what beauty is. And I think it was Tucker. There was somebody that he had on, and I want to say it was Alex Jones, but excuse me, it could have been, I don't know who it was, but they were talking about how the idea of the perversion of beauty is something that underlies so much of what we see, that they don't respect that like architecture or poetry or art, that there's no value except power. You can't have anything that's just like, oh, I like that. It's just about power. That's it. A shout out to Unwanted Foe. Welcome to the party. Making public school lunch foods even worse. Well, less sugar, like tastes worse or worse for you. Because I mean, she was supposed to make it healthier. And I remember when I was in middle school, we would have French fry parties because they would only allow you to buy one large French fries. But you would, me and like 5 friends, and this was somebody, you know, you and 5 friends, everybody would do this. You'd each buy a thing of fries, and then you pour them onto a tray, and like you put some paper plates down. You just pour it onto a tray, fry party, and you felt cool because you just had a bunch of fries, and nobody else could get more at all. And it's like not healthy at all. All right, so Canatois says she graduated from Princeton and Harvard Law. I remember hearing about programs she worked for to extend civil rights. She did become first lady. I don't count that as anything more than my lazy ass, and I could write a book. Well, exactly. If you can write a book, then her writing a book when she's been through all this shit is not really much of anything. I would give yourself more credit. I would rather read a book from you, somebody who's lived a real life, than somebody who just went through the motions of politics. Now, I'm not saying that she's a bad person because she didn't do, anything that I find interesting. And I mean, I don't find going to Princeton or Harvard Law that interesting. I mean, yes, it is a good accomplishment, but in terms of interesting, like, okay, I mean, yeah, you're smart. Okay, cool. Are you though? Or did you just have somebody that you paid to get in there? Because I remember that whole thing. And I think it was something like, actually, I don't even remember the numbers. I don't want to spit anything up, but it's a huge number of the students at these Ivy League schools at any given time are what do they call them? Legacy? Is it legacy things? Like your dad went there or whatever. So I mean, sure, but yeah, I should have given it up to Barack. Oof. Yep. So he says something about sucking something. Well, in Hillary's case, she has a little black book with all the men are in the black now. Oh, what the hell did I just do? I almost did something and I didn't do it, but anyway. That's why Judge Merchant is risking his robe and frock. He fears the concert shoes. I do not know what that means, so I'm going to assume that went over my head.
Bad and mediocre.
Everybody.
They love anything that's ugly and bad and mediocre, don't
People
they?
have different tastes, man.
No, but
Some
that's not
people
even a
like that,
taste.
though,
It's
you
like,
know,
look, you could say of Al Sharpton, who
Yeah.
I vehemently disagree with, but there, like Al Sharpton's a self-created person actually, and Al Sharpton's pretty smart, and Al Sharpton's got a lot of things about Al Sharpton that are bad for sure, but at least Al Sharpton's like kind of lived a life. Michelle Obama, same with Trump. Maybe you hate Trump, okay? You think he's vulgar, you think it was, but he's like a self-created guy, #1 TV show in the country.
Gotcha.
Like Michelle Obama has literally done nothing except whine about the white man for 60 years. Like, what? That's not a qualification.
You're assuming that doing anything is a qualification to run on the left.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, they zero in on the most repulsive images and people. It's like they're
yes, there's a reverence for that which is again just ugly. That is a rejection of the classic idea of aesthetics. That if it looks nice, then it must be evil. I don't know if it's that direct, but that surely that mentality is there.
They're kind of an X-ray, sort of a reverse image of everything that's beautiful and dignified and virtuous.
If she runs, you have no idea how formidable she would be.
But it's like the
I
uglier
agree.
something is, the more they love.
I agree. That's why I don't understand why you guys think that she wouldn't do well. I mean, am I mixing you guys up with Tucker? Sorry, there's a lot going on, but I think she would do fantastic. Oh, you guys are saying she doesn't want to run. I don't think that really comes into it at all, to be honest with you.
You have no idea how formidable she would be.
But it's like the uglier something is, the more they love it.
Well, maybe that is, again, maybe that's,
physically and spiritually.
Let me ask you a question. Who is more formidable, her or Joe Biden?
That's a new poll. Ooh. Who would do better? Assuming they're putting everything into it, Biden or Mikey boy? That's an interesting. So Brian said she would do well. She won't run. She has zero interest. Fair. But hypothetically, let's say that she was, again, I think that there's so much that the DNC has on the Obamas that's not a choice that she can make. I don't think that's a choice she can make. I think if they say, no, honey, sweetie baby, you're up, I don't think there's any recourse for her to be like, I don't like, this is similar to like when, for those of you who don't know, I'm a dog trainer, and, we start off with the training and it's just all, treats, and you just want to do a sit and you want to do a touch and stay there. We get treats and everything. And then you got to switch it around and be like, okay, now I need you to do this, and then you'll get a treat. And I was like, well, I don't want to do that. I don't care. This isn't about what you want. You live in my house. I give you all free food. I keep you out inside from all of that. You don't get to choose. This is not a question. So I mean, it goes for both, but I'm talking about Michelle Obama. I think that goes for both, but definitely more so for Obama. To tell me that the whether it's the DNC or the uniparty establishment didn't put so much into the Obama family that they can call on whatever they want from them, I think that's naive. Do I have any evidence that that's the case? Of course not. But it doesn't make sense that it would work any other way to me. And maybe you could highlight how it would, but I don't think it works any other way. I do not think that if unnamed person at the head of the DNC goes and says, look, we've run the numbers a million different ways, and Biden is going to lose. So we need you to run. I don't think that she has a choice there. I don't think she has a choice. Legally, yeah, obviously, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking Epstein level. Montefiore said a random cat on the street could do a better job than Biden.
Come on, man.
Agreed. Multimind Media said, I think she would get the women's vote and a lot of TDS people. Yep. Easily scoop up the women's vote. Zibby said, I need to cook dinner. Enjoy that. Brian said the Obamas run the DNC to the extent he wants to. Anyway, but at what cost? At what cost? That's the question. At what cost? Because of whatever that cost is, if the DNC turns around and says, okay, now we need you, I don't know. I said, who do you think would win, Michelle or Kamala? Michelle, for sure. I said, I'd vote for the random cat. Zippy again. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Brother. There he is. He's loving it. Who said, don't make me send you my proofed and edited chapters on my book projects. It is less than a few thousand words. I'd be happy to be a proofreader for you. What do we have to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Rumble rants. Bro, thank you so very, 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 very much. I really do appreciate that. Canna Talor. Ah, damn it, I had it. I had it in my head, and then I went to say it, and I messed it up. Canna said, y'all really hate Biden. What policies, though? I never hear anyone talk policy. Because we could talk about, the border, we could talk about bail reform, we could talk about all that stuff. But for me personally, it is a lot more about the culture that is perpetuated when this person is in charge versus this person is in charge. So the idea that it is okay to do this, that, and that, whether it is call people racist or trans children or pick any issue that you want to pick. We are handcuffed. We are handcuffed by I don't want to say the woke mob, but it really is the woke mob. And we have to be careful because we can't we can't become the woke right and be like, oh, everything's wokeness, so we got to do wokeness is the, but because of the fact that the underlying culture that keeps America together has been eroded by the culture that comes along with leftism. That to me, it's so important to stop us from barreling American culture off of a cliff. Even if Trump isn't great, Trump is not. The options are continue careening off of a cliff or stop. And stop doesn't get us anywhere good, but it sure as shit doesn't get us off the cliff. So I mean, yeah, exactly. Taxes, foreign affairs, no new wars. My media said increased tax on potential investment is one big thing right now for Biden that I hate. Canna said, no, I get that culture is upsetting, but don't say all of them and name one. That's fair. That's fair. Wonderful said our cities are overrun with crime, which only increased with a large influx of illegal immigrants. The economy is practically crippled by Biden and has emptied our oil reserves. What else? Yeah, there's a lot there. So, but again, I mean, I agree with all of these things, but I don't necessarily think that if Trump was slightly different on this issue or that issue, that it would be the difference that I'm like, oh, well, I can't. I mean, all right, well, now I'm going with Biden because it's a all-encompassing bottom line thing. The bottom line is that we are going to continue calling everything racist and transphobic and sexist and whatever, or we're going to get back to an idea where we're dealing with things on the reality of what they are. Now, I'm an atheist. So, if we want to come and be like, oh, well, the religious right, I'm right there with you. I just see the religious left, which I think is an accurate title. I think the religious left is a much bigger problem than a religious right now. I think the woke left is a bigger problem than the woke right now. But they're both issues. They are both issues. Brian M. said Republicans aren't the answer to the problems, but the Democrats are the cause. Dilly to that. Comment of the night. Republicans aren't the answer to the problem. Fuck the GOP. Fuck the rhinos. Fuck the neocons. But the Democrats are the cause. Perfectly said. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. I'm gonna star those. We'll clap about that later. Tell me, is the okay? Never mind. It's just on my end. Okay. Harley said when Biden came into office, COVID was still a big issue. What was his first order he signed about? Combating racial inequality. Kevin says, yeah, I understand now. You should really go over policy. I think you'd be surprised. Most that you brought up are fake issues created by the media to divide us. Border being a good example. So there's not millions of people pouring over the border and getting sent all over the country and being put up in hotels on taxpayer dime. That's not happening. Crime isn't up significantly. Yeah, I'll let you guys handle that. I'll let you guys handle that. What is Zippy got? I don't know. Oh, okay. Word up. I'll check those out. All right, give me 1 second here, and we will dive back in. Yeah, not
spiritually.
Let me ask you a question.
And again, they're just because I focus on the down from when. You guys got this.
Or they love it.
Well, maybe that is, again, maybe that's,
physically and spiritually.
Let me ask you a question. Who is more formidable, her or Joe Biden?
I mean, I probably Michelle, I would think.
So then the other question becomes for you as a,
but then you wonder, is there like a bottom to white guilt? Because Michelle Obama's fake husband got him elected because white people got him elected. That wasn't, black people didn't do that.
Yeah.
Is that kind of played out? Like you're electing?
You'd think so. But somehow they've kept it alive, which goes directly to my point that we can't get anything done when the language that we use to talk about the issues is so obfuscated that we can't have a conversation. It doesn't matter what the policies are. Yes, I've talked about that. We talk about the policies, and we do talk about the policies. We like the policies. But even if we didn't, it is existential. Yeah, down from when you could actually get convicted of a crime. Like, exactly. Okay, well then you're not message. What is you're? But, okay, but the message that you're reporting is wrong. So we're not blaming you for having wrong data. We're blaming you for having the wrong message, and that's okay. We're all wrong sometimes, but the whatever message you're trying to what. So yeah, let's give you the floor. Okay, you're just the messenger. What is the data that you've gathered, and what is the message? After this one, immigrants commit less crimes than Americans. Crime is down. I'm sorry. From when? If crime was here and then it went up to here and then it went down to here, crime is down doesn't really mean anything. Crime is down from the worst it's been in decades. Yes, exactly. It's only down from that. So if there had not been COVID, crime would be hugely up because it is up. Down from COVID, down from the worst it's ever been is not good. That's just not as bad as the worst it's ever been. And all of that, no, after COVID. We're not talking about COVID. We're talking about after COVID. You're trying to say that crime is down when it's still higher than it was before COVID. It's not down. That's just not true. Hey, thank you to Harley Rose said, not true. It depends the type of crime. If you want full stats, here is a link. All right. So what do we got? Rate of violent offenses. So yeah, we had the 2016 and the peak 20 here. So if this is my standard for where crime should be. And so, okay, maybe we're getting back to those levels. Great. But don't talk to me about, a crime being down when it's just not. It's getting better. Sure. But what is all this? Why was all this Not as soon as he opened up, why didn't we go from here to here? That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. It is? Oh, it is here. Okay, so the chart's just wrong. Gotcha. Okay.
People didn't do that.
Yeah.
Is that kind of played out? Like you're electing, we're going to say that a woman who lives in Hawaii, compounds in Hawaii and Martha's Vineyard is somehow like it's a victory for civil rights or something. Like what would be the rationale?
I mean, does anybody else believe that crime is generally down? Because if not, then I mean, you kind of go look at whatever you want and say, hey, look at this. This is fine. But I think we all are in agreement that while it is on the decline from the worst it's ever been, that's not what generally people mean when they say crime is down. Crime is just where it was before the spike of COVID, and it was on its way up. And again, petty crime higher than ever, directly due to Biden policies.
Martha's Vineyard is somehow like it's a victory for civil rights or something. Like what would be the rationale? Like are we at the end of that cycle where people have to vote for someone like that?
So try to the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's play devil's advocate.
Are you sure you want to make this argument? That's not the worst it's ever been. There was the 80s. Oh, okay. My bad. Excuse me. New York City is not as bad as Times Square in the 80s. How did he do it? Make it almost as bad as the worst time ever in the history of the country.
You're on the left.
Yeah.
Okay. Who are your top 5 candidates most qualified that you can help as the establishment? You get everybody behind this person. Who's your top 5 draft pick on the left to be a president?
Jimmy Dore.
Oh, yeah. What an answer. I was so hoping. Thank you, Tucker Carlson. I was hoping there was some way we would be able to bring this up. Shout out. So I don't know if you guys remember when we covered a while back. It was when I was still doing these, like there's just standalone videos. And Jimmy Dore had what's his face, Cornel West on his show to be like, hey, dude, you're running as a socialist, whatever. But the message that you're saying is Biden's the better, or Trump is the worst of two evils, which says to people they should vote for Biden. Check this out. Thank you so much for bringing that up, Tucker.
Festival, and when I had Cornel West on, and I implored him because I was shut out of the Cornel West campaign. Cornel West was always on my show whenever I wanted him. He would return my texts and my emails. Same thing with Jill Stein. They couldn't have been happier to come on my show and talk to me and text me and DM me. And then all of a sudden,
you did deny it, though, when you say that it's down. If you're by omission, you're acting like there was no spike, and so it's not down. It's straight across. It's only except for the spike. So it's dishonest to say it's down when it's down from the spike, when it was a huge spike. That's the point. Brian said it's not getting better. It's just not being reported first by the government to the people making the stats, and people not reporting crimes because defund the police, right? That had nothing to do with Biden. So he said not just Biden. They're ignoring shopliftings and car break-ins. Also, guns reduce crime in NYC until they took them away from citizens. And Marie said, what constitutes some crimes has changed. So, what constitutes some crimes has changed, so technically not down. I'm not really sure what you're asking. You said Jimmy Dore just had a North Korea apologist on and seemed to agree with him. I do like Jimmy sometimes, though. Jimmy is he's a leftist. He's a leftist. There's no two ways about that. He's a leftist. But if you don't remember the original, they're kind of going over it here and then, just taking a victory lap. And I was just watching this right before. And since we covered it and since Tucker brought it up, let's do it.
when Cornel announced he's running for president, that all ended. I haven't heard from Jill Stein since. I haven't heard from.
Okay, but saying that there was a spike and then now it's down from the spike is not the same thing as saying it's down. That's not the same thing. And so saying it's down from the spike doesn't mean anything. It should be down from the spike. That's what we would expect. So Biden has nothing to do with that. The fact that it's not down from being down, despite the policies, that's what we would expect. That it would be here, there would be a spike, and then it would go down because of better policies. But it didn't happen. So at the very best, you could say that it's a wash. It's not down.
And then all of a sudden, when Cornell announced he's running for president, that all ended. I haven't heard from Jill Stein since. I haven't heard from Cornell West. I had to twist his arm so hard to get him to come on the show. So when he came on the show, I knew this was my one chance to try to talk to him and convince him that he was having a horrible campaign. And he does have a horrible campaign. And now everybody agrees. And because his message was Joe Biden is the lesser of two evil, which
I'll let you guys handle this one.
sounds like he's co-opted by the Democratic Party. That's what that's because when you say that Joe Biden is the lesser of two evil against Donald Trump, you are campaigning for Donald Trump. And that's what I tried to tell him. And the reason why I'm going to show you this is because he did a campaign stop. He did a rally, if that's what you want to call it, in Harlem. And nobody showed up.
Oof. So, okay. So I meant it's not down since some of what is now considered crime has changed. Yes. Yeah. So the idea that, this doesn't affect it hugely, but there is, it is going to affect the bottom line that if this was doing this behavior X used to be a felony and now it is only a misdemeanor, then even if there's more of the misdemeanors, it's the same action, but crime is down because there's less felonies. This is how this is the semantic obfuscation. Crime is down. That's what they tell you. And they know that you're going to think, oh, that means things are better, but they're not. And now they have you here trying to argue that crime is down when it's not. And all of us are very well equipped to be like, well, this is why, and that's why, and that's why, and that's why. Now, if you could refute what we're saying, I ask anybody here, I am happy to say, oh, yep, I got that one wrong. But you're not doing that.
Well, watch this. We agree on almost everything except the message of your campaign, right? That's the only thing. I would hope it would become even more focal. Let me just put it this way.
But are you suggesting that the message should be that Biden is a greater fascist than Trump?
I'm not saying that you should talk about fascism or any of that stuff. I think you should.
No, fascism is very real. You don't think fascism is real in the country?
We're living in it. We're living in fascism.
But I'm talking about escalating in terms of intensity.
This is why his campaign went nowhere.
It has since Biden became president. It certainly has escalated in intensity. So that's him trying to push the bullshit line that somehow Trump's a bigger fascist and fascism's going to come if Trump gets elected. And I had to explain to him, no, even though you didn't notice it because you live in an ivory tower for the last 45 fucking years and you don't have any connection to actual workers, Cornel West, that we are living in fascism. And workers got
from when? From when? Down from when? Is it down from 2020? Yes. Is it down from 2019? I don't think so.
Forced to take experimental.
Yeah, right. Inflation's down too.
Workers got fired, but by the tens.
I mean, technically, inflation is down, but what the way that they try to say that is, the prices are down.
And hundreds of thousands across this country, workers that you didn't have shit to say about. So this is just a guy being completely out of touch, ivory tower. And I was trying to impress upon him, this is a losing strategy. Your message is a loser. And you see him pushing back like a moron. They've censored everybody. They've crushed unions. They've started another war. And now they're saber rattling with 2 nuclear powers. I don't know how worse it could get. And by the way, he still hasn't let people out of prison. He still hasn't given student loan. He's still denying us health care. He's an enemy of the worker and a tool of military industrial complex in Wall Street. There's no bigger fascist in the country than Joe Biden. The reason why black and brown people are locked up again isn't because of Trump. It's because of brother Biden. And Joe Biden is proud of that. He brags about that. He brags about the crime bill and he will never apologize for it. So I'm just letting you know that I really want your campaign to pick up traction. This is the opposite way to do it. And it turns
so that was essentially the long and short of what happened.
But it doesn't sound like that to a whole host of others at all.
Okay. Well, actually, wait. Hear this part. When again, Jimmy is legitimately trying to help him.
To the Biden project, you're absolutely right.
It's like you're campaigning for Joe Biden almost when you're doing this. That's what it sounds like.
That's ridiculous.
But that's what I'm not saying you are doing that. I'm saying that's what it sounds like.
What it sounds like to you. That's what it sounds like to you. And you got a right to be wrong. You got a right to be right. It sounds like to you. But it doesn't sound like that to a whole host of others at all.
So if only Cornel West had listened to Jimmy Dore again, just for his own sake. Whatever they're doing over there. I don't care. I'm not voting for any of them. But
okay, all right. Again, okay. It turns out it does sound like that because Russell Dobler went in Harlem. Harlem. He was doing a campaign rally. You could hardly call this a rally. This is more of a campaign coffee clutch without the coffee, and no one showed up. So Russell Dobler went to this yesterday, and here's how it started. Here's how it started. You want to see? How's that crowd doing? Let's see that crowd.
Ready? Oh.
How's that crowd going? How's that crowd? Now,
you pay some black.
Yikes. So that is why I love this answer.
Who's most qualified that you can help as the establishment? You get everybody behind this person. Who's your top 5 draft pick on the left to be a president?
Jimmy Dore.
That would never happen on the left. Are you kidding me? You're so
like the actual left. I'd vote for Jimmy Dore.
Jimmy Dore's a stud. He's phenomenal at what he does.
Honest man.
Well, think about you're them. You are them. You're in the room with them. Who's their top 5?
I mean, I guess I don't know who's like mentally retarded and transgender. I guess that's sort of, but I'm serious. Like, that's how they think. Like, so what's the most repulsive thing we can do? What's the opposite of what's the farthest from the actual truth? Who's the least competent? What's the ugliest building we can build? What's the most putrid painting we can create and call it art?
You wouldn't say Newsom, number 1, Michelle 2. You wouldn't go to some of those. You wouldn't go, Gretchen. You wouldn't put that as a top 5.
I probably would put Newsom as number 1.
It's their profile of candidates. That's the profile
those
of their.
people are jokes.
It's not about being a joke. It's about who they can control and get the job done.
Is Biden not a joke? I mean, let's be dead ass. In 2016, was Trump not a joke? Trump was a joke. And I mean, look what he did. So I want to see that Trump campaign in Harlem. I mean, he was just in the Bronx. He was just in the Bronx last week, and they loved him. Hundreds of thousands of people. Thousands of people. Biden is definitely a meme.
Through them. So
but what's the job?
Well, are you kidding me? Establish certain controls that nobody can touch.
Just steal shit.
Sure.
That's basically what it is. Let the stealing proceed.
Well, I mean, without getting caught, and you create the law. I mean, if you create the law, you're protecting yourself. I mean, that's
I've noticed.
Yeah. So, by the way, are you following closely what's going on with Iran with Raisi? Did you?
Well, I mean, to the extent you can know, yeah. I mean, I've certainly followed it.
Are you seeing like?
All right, so I wanted to get the meat of that, talking about Cuomo. So let's go back to who is going to win the election and why. So again, if you are just joining, we have already covered the Chris Cuomo portion, and now we're going back to the beginning. And we are coming up on the 2-hour mark. So if you are enjoying the party and you would like to keep it going, you know how to do it.
Like life, it's like 30% luck. So it's like a metaphor because there's a lot of luck.
Out of five, anybody could win.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
But he played 3 out of 5 of 5.
Is this to me or one of you guys?
The better player is going to win.
Of course.
Patrick bet David, May 22nd.
Oh my gosh.
May
so
22nd.
He just said it's May 22nd. I don't know when this is going to air. So
the next day.
Who's going to win the presidential race and why?
Who's going to win the presidential race and why? I think right now, if it ended today, right? If it ended today and you looked at the states, Wisconsin, Biden has, you can go through the others. Trump has a big lead, I believe, in Arizona and another state by 11 points, 50 to 39. He's got a 3 to an 11-point lead on the 6 states that matter. They're not even looking at North Carolina right now. They're like, no, it's going to be his. It's red. We don't even want to report it as a battleground. No, not even reporting it. So if it ends today, it's him that's going to win it. However, it's not ending today.
No, it is not. But we can't stop, won't stop. Feed the puppy, indeed I will, with the $5 super chat from Unwanted Foe. Thank you so very much, everybody. Hit that like on Unwanted Foe's chat. Thank you so very, very much, sir. I very, very, very much appreciate that.
It's him that's going to win it. However, it's not ending today. The amount of gamification that could happen between now and November 5th, it's endless. Gamification, manipulation, you call it. There's a lot of things you can do. So for me, there's a part of me where on the left side of my shoulder, it's a guy that says future looks bright. It's going to be great. We're going to take over. It's going to be awesome. America's going to be the greatest country in the world and everything's going to be okay, right? Then there's another guy on this side that's super paranoid. But what if?
Well, why would they be paranoid? It's not like they're going to unleash a lab-grown virus on the world or
they would never do that.
Provoke race riots and burn down your cities. I don't think they wouldn't go that far.
Why would they do such a thing? They're unifiers. They're not trying to divide. You know that, Tucker. You're being a little bit too speculative.
I get cynical. Yeah. So I think what you're saying.
So wait, why again would we not want the left to be in charge? I don't. Again, guys, if you not hit that like button, please do me a favor. It is so quick, so easy, so free, and it helps out so much. Morty is leaving because you didn't like the button. 1 like equals 1 vote for Trump.
Thing is, if it plays out as elections are supposed to play out on the basis of what the population wants, then Trump has a big advantage.
Mm-hmm.
But you are open to the possibility that there will be some sort of manipulation of the country.
Oh, there's no question. Only the paranoid survive. And there's never been a time where we need to be paranoid about what could happen the next few months. Never. All of a sudden, you show up saying you want to
Yeah, you didn't prove it, Sippy. You didn't prove it. Therefore, it's the opposite.
debate June 27th. I debated him 2 times and I beat him 2 times. You want it? Come on, tough guy. June 27th.
Wait, what? What happened? What did I do?
And then you read the details. Mike's going to go off the moment time's up. 2, 0 audience. Why are we doing 0 audience? Well, we're just going back to the way it was with Nixon and Kennedy. And then the next day, 50 articles come out. We're becoming traditional on how this whole thing about TV debate on TV started with Nixon and Kennedy with no audience. That's the right way to do it. So,
Cope. There he is. I needed you here before, brother. I needed you here before. We're gonna talk. We skipped ahead and we went to the part where Tucker was asking him about Chris Cuomo, and he's kind of giving wishy-washy answers. I was talking about how you were always giving him his credit for his sales techniques, and I just was very, very not impressed with what he said. But welcome to the party. People said, do you have call-ins for debates and stuff? That could be fun. Sure. Yeah. You want to do that? We can okay, what's here? I'll drop the link if you want to come up and do that instead. Let's do that. Come on up.
this whole thing about TV debate on TV started with Nixon and Kennedy with no audience. That's
shout out to Zippy one more time over on the Rumble Rant. Come in the building. Come on up. Hey, there you go. There you go. Thank you so very, very much, sir. Let me start that. So I remember. What do you have? Oh, that's for that. Boom, 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 boom. Who ran out of words? What are you talking about? Guamtag said a test of a true salesman is when they're on their back foot. Maybe he's been out of the game too long. I don't know. Afterwards, you gotta. I mean, well, maybe we'll look back over it in the after party, and we'll have to see if what you have to say about that. But Canna, the link is there. I'll pin it to the top. I'm gonna replace the join membership link so that it doesn't get lost. So if you think I'm so wrong, come on up and tell me how I'm wrong.
Traditional on how this whole thing about TV debate on TV started with Nixon and Kennedy with no audience. That's the right way to do it, so the audience can decide for themselves who the better debater is. But listen, the last time we did without an audience was in 1960, whatever the timeline was with those two. We've always had an audience. The audience, well, you guys got to keep it down. But they know what's going to happen, where he's going to have his moments where he says, because you'd be in jail. And they're worried about those things. Yep. However, here's what's going to happen. I think as much as they try to protect him to kind of see what's going to happen with that, what percentage of people do you think that consume the debate are the type that consume highlight reels like a game? I don't watch full games, but I'll watch a highlight reel.
Right.
I'll watch SportsCenter. I'll watch some of the clips on Twitter to see, oh, look at this. Oh, wow, good for these guys. They won.
What do we have from Unwanted Foe? Speaking of governments unleashing, engineered viruses, we have from the Daily Mail. Exclusive USDA and China CCP lab are creating a deadly bird flu viruses as part of a $1 million collaboration, and you are paying for it. That's right. Anytime we were just talking about this the other day. Letter states the research could threaten national security and public health. It involves infecting ducks with different viruses to make them more infectious. It's not gain of function. It's directed evolution. Semantic obfuscation. So I'll put the we're not going to go through this whole thing, but I will drop this link in the chat here if you want to check that out. Hey, shout out to Indie Film with the Rumble Rant. Said I paid $2 for that. There you go. Very, very, very much appreciated. Okay. Where are we? How much votes they should at least test on Canadian geese instead of ducks. All right. Good one.
I'll watch Sports Center. I'll watch some of the clips on Twitter to see, oh, look at this. Oh, wow, good for these guys. They won. What percentage you think of voters are going to watch the entire thing on TV, on CNN, versus what percentage you think are going to get the highlight reels on Instagram and Twitter? What do you think?
I mean, I think it's overwhelming the percentage who will watch portions of it rather than the whole thing.
You think it's 80-20?
At least.
Okay,
I took the words right out of my mouth. At least. Thank you again for the likes, guys. Very much.
The percentage who will watch portions of it rather than the whole thing.
You think it's 80-20?
At least.
Okay, so who cares? So part of me is like, okay, go ahead. Do what you want to do with this, right? Because the clips on this side that they're going to cut it, edit it, put it out there, the audience is going to go at it. You're going to see the polls. You're going to see the reactions. You're going to see who's going to be better editors. Nowadays, the better editing team, creating better clips in a fast manner with the right music, with the right creative, B-roll and things you add to it. Trump's camp's a better marketer. They've always been better marketers.
And the fact that we see that a higher percentage of young people, a higher percentage of young people are more willing to be on the right than in the millennial generation or the previous generations. That ability to that typically the youth has that the youth has that goes to the left is now going to be a lot more evenly spread out.
The other side has no clue how to do marketing.
But maybe the bar is lower for Biden. I mean, you see these clips of him daily drooling and mangling names and identifying his sister as his wife, and he's just so out of it. And then they juice him up on something to the point where, as at the State of the Union, he seems sort of non-senile. So maybe if he pulls that off, why doesn't Trump just say, like, what drugs are you on? Why don't you disclose that?
Maybe he will. Maybe he'll ask it.
I would love to see that.
And, saying the things about calling his sister's wife, that's his personal business. It's not your business, Tucker. I mean, I don't know why you're getting
how he arranges his personal life.
I don't know if you've ever been to West Virginia. People live in different ways. There's different standards. I don't think you should judge that.
Totally fair. And by the way, compared to the trans stuff, that's not that weird.
Yeah.
So how do you rate the peril to Trump personally? Physical peril.
Oh.
How do you rate the peril to Trump personally? Meaning, like, how much danger is he in? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I mean, I think, well, Zippy's out there. I think that it is a definite concern that they're not going to let either one of them, for that matter, make it to November. So I think if one of them dies, then that makes it a lot easier to replace them. Oh, there's the Hungry Dance. Morty's Hungry Dance. Feed the dog. Brian said, truth eventually finds the right direction. Usually, but when you're obfuscating language and people don't understand what words mean anymore, I don't know how closely we can depend on this. Truth eventually finds the right direction as long as it is spoken. But if it's being obfuscated and shut down, I don't know. But yeah, back to Trump's. I mean, I think, yeah. He's
how do you
in
rate the peril to Trump personally? Physical peril.
Oh, you mean the two of them going up against each other?
To Trump now. So Trump's way.
So no danger at all, Gomtech says. Trump is salivating over the chance to take him over the coals.
What?
I don't think. Maybe you don't understand the question. The question is what? Please explain what the fuck this means. How does Trump salivating over the chance to rake him over the coals have anything to do with how safe Trump is? What you talking about, Willis?
Oh, you mean the two of them going up against each other?
To Trump now. So Trump's way ahead,
right?
Actually, farther ahead than a candidate typically is in May of an election year. And we sort of know that that's the red line. Can't have Trump. So I've asked him this directly. Didn't get an answer. But do you worry that he could be harmed between now and then?
Well, I mean, Psaki briefly said, the risk that he stands in a most indirect way. And
Jen Psaki?
Yes. And I don't know if you've seen.
No, they were saying the personal. I mean, did I mishear that?
So,
right.
Actually,
the two of them
to Trump. It's not that weird.
Yeah.
So how do you rate the peril to Trump personally?
Okay. All right. I was like, am I stupid? And yes, any film, just because I love you, buddy. I did give him the treat just because you're not paying attention, just because I'm so beautiful. It's right here. Licking your balls on stream, bro. Come on.
Trump. So I've asked him this directly, didn't get an answer, but do you worry that he could be harmed between now and then?
Well, I mean, Psaki briefly said, the risk that he stands in a most indirect way. And
Jen Psaki?
Yes. And I don't know if you've seen the movie
Psaki?
Civil War that just came out.
Have you guys seen that? I've only heard about it. I heard it was, super woke. But again, now we're at the place where, okay, well, if you're not coming up, I'm putting my thing back up. We're now at the place where I don't trust people just saying that it's woke. Because again, with X-Men is the perfect example of a beautifully well written story. And then this new Mad Max movie that's coming up. The quartering was between people are tired of female protagonists. Like, not necessarily. Like, yeah, the way that you portray female protagonists is really bad. But we're tired of bad storytelling. I don't care if it's women. And Guantek was perfect on this, talking about how well they talked about the struggles of women and motherhood and actual feminine struggles with X-Men. They did that well. And yeah, there's people who are mad because they spent time talking about the females and there was a they them, and those are the people that are not on my team, because those people are going to fuck everything up. Those people are going to give the left the ammo to be like, see, all these people are just looking for wokeness everywhere, not understanding that they're the ones who started this line of thinking of looking for racism, sexism, transphobia, whatever, everywhere. But it doesn't change the fact that whatever we end up, we got to come up with a better name. The woke right doesn't fit. It's not good. I don't like it. But I don't have people are talking about that, and I don't have a better term. But we need a better term, because it's not the woke right. But it is the aspect of the white, the aspect of the right that is so obsessed with wokeness that you're willing to weaken your stance on a given position, because you are willing to go that hard on the wokeness. Unless the wokeness is directly affecting something, then yeah, we don't like it in general, but it doesn't mean that it's a movie with it or a show with it, or because there's a gay teacher or whatever, all that stuff. That doesn't mean that's what it is. And there's a lot of people who are just like, oh, nope, woke. And that's just as bad as, oh, that's racist. It's the exact same shit.
Saki?
Yes. And I don't know if you've seen the movie Civil War that just came out. If you've seen the movie Civil War, it's about it's a commercial for Reuters, a left-wing journalist, and depicting the president of the time during the Civil War of an identical character played as Donald Trump. And the hero of the movie, to my knowledge, the way I saw the movie, was the person that assassinates the president last minute. In the last minute of the movie, the president playing the role of Trump gets assassinated in the movie.
Spoiler alert.
How many people does that movie need to inspire for somebody to become
so
a
I
hero?
haven't seen it, but the assassin, the Lee Harvey Oswald, or
is the hero at the end?
Probably not actually the assassin, but whatever. He's the hero. The guy who murders the president is
America.
The hero
in the movie. The way they sell it is that the president playing the character of Trump is an evil man.
Who made this movie?
There's
Hollywood.
It's very different than the other movie that was made, Leave the World Behind, by Obama's and Julia Roberts. This actually,
wait. Which I'm thinking of, Leave the World. I don't remember if I saw this. I've had to have seen this. There's no way I didn't see this. But I was thinking of what's the other one? Don't Look Up with Leo. And this was, if you didn't see this, this was basically about people not listening to scientists and whatever. And it was good, because there's aspects of, just like I was talking about the woke right, there is aspects of that on the left and the right. but the movie had to go and specifically say, oh, the right wing is the bad guys and left wing is the left wing is the good guys. And it's like, well, guy, like, what? You just ruined the whole point of your movie. The whole point of your movie should be that anybody can fall into this, but now it's just propaganda. Shout out again to Zippy, the Strange over on Rumble, throwing those Rumble rants. So there's a critical drinker said, here, let's get you full screen here. So, as the critical drinker says, people are not tired of superheroes or women. They are tired of bad films. Exactly. You need an extra liver. You need an extra liver to get through. An extra liver. What, you mean drinking? Dilly dilly? Guys, don't give me money that you can't afford to give me. I didn't tell you to do that. Don't give me money that you can't afford to give me. If you are enjoying what you're watching and you want this to continue and you can afford it, then yes, give me money. Please. If you can't afford it, don't give me money, because I'm sure as shit not going to feel bad if you decide to give me money when you don't have money. All right, where were we? Yeah, right. Morty knows. Brian said, legitimate people think it's not crazy to think Trump's life could be in danger. Insane we even have to ask ourselves this question. I am one of those people. I am absolutely one of those people. Why would it be that crazy to think? Look at all they're doing. Why would they not go one step further?
Different than the other movie that was made, Leave the World Behind, by Obama's and Julia Roberts. This actually had a decent cast.
It's not, though. That's a different thing than what I'm talking about. The woke right is the extreme right. They just don't know it. They're the ones who hate people who are a bit different, but still morally sane, like gamers and anime fans who lean right. Yeah. So like, it's different. So that's why we need a better term, because the far right isn't necessarily concerned about wokeness in the same way as I'm working on it, because this is kind of, but it's not encompassing. Like, if somebody doesn't know what we're talking about and they read this, then they're not going to understand what we're saying. So we have to find a better way to articulate it. But I don't know what it is yet. We're gonna find it.
For the movie, it's a very hard movie to watch. Leave the World Behind was actually a better produced movie, more dark, more deceptive, extremely divisive, a lot of messaging in there, predictive programming, stuff that you can watch and say, this can actually happen one day. But yeah, I mean, look, a lot of, like, I don't know if you've seen the movie John Q. First time I watched John Q.
John Q's a good one. Shout out to the Funk Master General. Oh my goodness. Out sponsoring himself yet again. Thank you so much for the $10. Said if anything happens to Trump, reconciliation of any kind is lost. If the U.S. collapse is really the plan, that's the last resort, but it would be a guaranteed way to do it. Agreed. And the question then is, do you think that this is where they see things? Do you think they see that you're at the last step? And I feel like when with all of the lawfare and none of it really sticking, does seem like they're kind of on their last resort. So I mean, I agree, but I mean, maybe I'm crazy to think that they're close to their last resort. But I definitely think I definitely think it. Not that I think it will happen. I just don't think it's unreasonable to think that they would slip him something. And oh no, he got sick. He's old. It's nothing bad happened. I mean, so it's just something that I definitely see as a possibility. Zippy said, I'd argue if they're willing to trade freedoms to fight the woke, they be extreme. Yep. No, because it's not about morality, because whether or not you care if there is a they them in X-Men, that's not really a moral question. It's about, like, the closer thing would be like wokeness derangement syndrome. Again, it's the perfect inverse being overly woke and looking for racism, sexism, transphobia, all of these things everywhere where it doesn't exist. And then if there is something that's racist or sexist, then people care less about that because you've said everything is racist and sexist. Now these people are doing that instead of the racism or sexism. It's the wokeness itself that's being overused as an issue. Yeah, it's not being woke. It's living confirmation bias. Seeing something that must be borderline X, then the whole movie must be X. Exactly, and it's not even just movies. It's everything. Shout out to Dylan Soup. Welcome to the party. Good to see you. Good to see you. One said, oh, I like that. Wokeness derangement syndrome has a good ring to it. WDS. Even still, a little. It doesn't quite roll off. We'll get there. I'm good at this. Every band I've ever been in, I've named every band I've ever been in, and I've named almost every song I've ever written. We're gonna get there. Trust me, gentlemen. I got this. Zippy says it's the fake morally right. They're trying so hard to keep up appearances. The front and right. We're getting closer. What I'm gonna say, not yet.
A lot of I don't know if you've seen the movie John Q. First time I watched John Q, Denzel Washington. Do you know the story about John
No.
Q? Okay, so it's a story about a father whose son is a fan of flex wheeler. He wants to be a bodybuilder, and his son, all of a sudden, heart collapses, and I think it's in the middle of a baseball game. They take him to the hospital. It's going to cost $250,000 to do surgery, and the company doesn't offer, allowing him to get the insurance because he doesn't have the best insurance, and he's trying to go raise the money. He can't raise the money. It's pointing a picture of a father about to lose a son because the hospital is not willing to spend $250,000 to save this kid's life, right? And you are going through this emotional roller coaster ride with the father. How many fathers are going to sit there and say, holy shit, what is this all about, right? And then eventually there's a scene where he tells Kevin Connolly, the actor from Entourage, and he says, listen, guys, just take it out of my heart and give it to him. It's this unique scene. It's like, I'm not going to do that. If you're not going to do it, I'm going to kill myself. You're going to take it out of my heart and you're going to give it to my son. Intense movie. Then while they're there, he's talking to his son. Son is laying on the bed at the hospital and he says, look, here's what I want you to think about. He says, my son buries me. I don't bury my son.
That's right. That's
right?
exactly
My
right.
son buries me. That's how it needs to be. So you're like, yeah. And as a father, you're feeling it. Well, that was right before Obamacare. How many people did that movie influence to say, you know what? We do need affordable care, So movies have a lot of power. I mean, if you go back in the days.
Facts. Movies have a lot of power, which is again ties into this whole thing about how they want to push the ugly. That I don't have it. We're working on it. I'm working on it. I promise you, I'm working on it. I don't have it there yet. The idea is there, but it's half baked. And we'll get it. I promise we'll get it. It's the fake, the front and right. Footsie with fascism. Front and right. It's close. Anne-Marie said extreme far right can be intolerant and as much an echo chamber as the left. Absolutely true. Zippy said the Affordable Care Act is not very affordable. That's why until last year, I went a good 11 years maybe without insurance. Just hope I don't die. Or rather, I hope if something happens, I die because I can't afford for anything to happen.
We do need affordable care, So movies have a lot of power. I mean, if you go back in the days, do you know who produced the first Titanic, the movie?
No.
Who produced the first Titanic movie and how does this tie in? It would have to be somebody. Royal Caribbean.
It's a guy named Adolf Hitler. You know who the hero was in the movie, the first Titanic?
The iceberg?
The hero in the movie is the Nazi soldier. If you go and pull up first Titanic, produced by Germany, Adolf Hitler, the hero is painted as the Nazi soldier. The way you confuse propaganda, storytelling is movies, docs, music. You know this. I mean, this is how you get the audience and the younger audience to buy in. So you mean to tell me the movie Civil War cannot inspire one kid to want to be a hero and being written about for the rest of his life in history books? You mean to tell me one kid's not going to be inspired by it? So I worry about some of this predictive programming they're putting, because they're going to say, well, you can't just say it was a movie that did it. Doesn't take a lot of stuff to get a young kid to be inspired to do something. So that's my part that's a little bit worrisome about what could happen in the future. But yeah, I think they're willing to do anything and everything and anything to not get him in the White House, because they worry if they do, they're going to lose their membership. I don't know if you saw what James Comey said yesterday. He got emotional. If he gets in there, he's going to completely change everything with our justice system. He's going to do everything with FBI. And he's going to put some bad people in there. And I'm telling you guys.
Oh, wait, was there somebody who was going to call in and say that I was wrong about something? Or was somebody just talking shit? I'm willing to be wrong, guys. I'm willing to be wrong. Come up here and tell me that I'm wrong. How and why I'm wrong, and I will give you I will take the O. I will give you the whatever it is. I have no ego about being right or wrong. Okay, I got the text. We'll work with the text, Eddie Film. But it's so common that people will come in and talk so big because they're behind a keyboard, but then somebody's actually taking me seriously. I just have talking points. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. And what was he saying at the end? Well, I was just checking on your channel. Got to make sure you're this, that. Okay, thanks, Dad. I'm doing so bad without you checking up on me. How would I never do this without you checking up on me? Yeah, apparently, shout out to Rose. Don't let a Nazi on the door. No, but this is the yeah, I didn't know about this. They made a version before the Leo 97.
He's going to do everything with FBI, and he's going to put some bad people in there. And I'm telling you guys, this is you cannot vote for Trump. You have to support. I've never seen Comey be this animated about Biden being a president. This just happened yesterday. So there's a lot of people that are worried about.
You got to wonder, as you listen to Comey talk, or Brennan, or all these former agency heads of the most powerful agencies in the world, these guys still have security clearances. Of course they do.
For sure.
They use them for their jobs.
Right.
That's a privilege, not a right. And those should be revoked immediately by Donald Trump day fucking one.
Yep.
Why do those guys still have security clearances? I mean, if you believe in democracy, if you think that the people who live in the country own the country, it's their government and they have a say in how it's run, and that government should reflect their priorities over time, and I think we all claim to believe that, then you can't have unelected agency heads or retired unelected agency heads running everything behind the scenes. That is just absolutely antithetical to democracy.
It's almost like a deep state or something.
So why do these guys continue to be allowed legally to run the government from outside the government?
Right. So
but that's not hard, is it?
No, it's not. But everybody is ambitious in their own way, some more, some less. But if you look at the profile of the top ambitious people, that they go in different routes. Okay, one is going to be fame. I want to be a celebrity. I want people to stop me and say, can I take a picture with you, Tucker? I want to do a selfie. Wow, I'm famous. Did you see this? That's ambitious. I'm going to be famous one day, right? Okay, great. Then the other one is ambitious. We're going to be millionaires. We're going to be billionaires. We're going to have all the money in the world. Okay, great. So one is fame. The other one is money. The other one is power, to tell you what to do.
Power. It is about the power. The power of the funk master general. He doesn't stop. He doesn't stop. He doesn't stop. So you got to hook up the overlord. He's having a ball back there. Yep, that's his hungry dance. And thank you for keeping the show going. Out sponsoring your damn self. Shout out to the funk master general. Everybody put FMG in the chat. Thank you. So much.
The other one is power, to tell you what to do. The money, guys, it's a number. You can measure it. You can say, this guy's winning because his net worth is $200 billion. His name is Elon Musk. This guy's number 2 at $180 billion. This guy's number 3, $165 billion, Zuck. There's a leaders bulletin for it. Fame, Kim Kardashian's got 400 million followers on Instagram. This person's got 500 million. Ronaldo's got 600 million. You can measure fame, right? How do you measure politics? How do you measure, what's the resume on measuring success in politics and somebody working for the federal government?
That's a great question. How do you measure success in politics and somebody working for the federal government? I don't know.
Working for, an FBI or CIA and, you know, and I know you're not very familiar with this organization called CIA, but it's a rough organization. It's a very interesting organization. You should look into them. Some interesting people have gone through there. But so what do they want? What are they driven by? What do they want to do? Is their ambition what? Is it money? No. Is it fame? No. Fame is actually straight up, okay, cool. You want to be famous? Go do XYZ. You want to make money? Go do XYZ. But the power people, oof, you got to be very careful with them.
So you said the Nazi deep state were absolutist. Even the floozy French and sassy Spaniards saved enemy soldiers. Though to the age of sail, enemy sailors had bounties and were traded back to home nations. Guns ruined war. Maybe, but now they're here. Ain't getting rid of them. Ain't getting rid of them.
Money, go to XYZ. But the power people, oof, you got to be very careful with them. A lot of times, like the way.
Well, so how do you measure power?
So the way you see, and this is it's easy in the business world. Say a guy, I had Michael Franzese on years ago when he and I started doing podcasts. Did a couple of interviews with him.
Good guy.
And in the mob world, right? And
he's a good guy.
Yeah, I want to know what the. So he took me. We went to New York because I was going to interview his father, Sonny Franzese. And Sonny is a guy that comes from the era of Lucky Luciano, Meyer Lansky, Frank Costello, Ben Siegel. He comes from.
Put a one in the chat if you saw. Fuck, what is it called? Boardwalk Empire. Put a one in the chat if you saw Boardwalk Empire.
That era.
I love what you call him Ben Siegel.
You can't say Bugsy, right? You got to say
so
Ben.
Good.
And let me tell you how
I met the guy who murdered him, Eddie Catanzaro, when I was a kid.
No shit.
Yeah, killed him in 1947. He's a friend of my dad's. We would go have dinner at his house, and he murdered Bugsy Siegel. Yeah, shot him in the face with a .30 caliber.
Wow,
big round.
What was it like
when
you talked
to him? He never married, never had kids. He was a cat guy. He collected stray cats, and my father loved animals and was good for.
They don't come up on StreamYard anyway. Even the ones that you two have, as half of them don't come up anyway. I mean, I'm hoping that changes, but we were trying to do the game over and goal thing, but the goal didn't come, and that was a fail. So I'm just hoping you guys organically come up with some emojis that we use.
Friends with Eddie Catanzaro, my brother and I, would take us over for
Sorry.
dinner. Like cannelloni, he lived with his parents. It was all very weird. Anyway, but he killed Bugsy Siegel. But I remember hearing the conversation. Yet don't call him Bugsy. He wasn't.
So here's the thing. So we go out, and I'm like, I'm trying to convince Sonny.
Go old school, guys. Use that's the way you do it. Go old school. Boom, boom.
Let me interview you. He says, for 55 years, I went to jail for 55 years. The only thing I can take to my grave is I never snitched on anybody. This is not a lie. This guy did 55 years in jail out of 103 years of living. Okay, never said anything to nobody, right? I get him in the car, taking him to his favorite Italian restaurant, okay? We pick him up from the old folks' home, and I'm driving. So, Sonny, what can you tell me about Meyer Lansky? Great guy. I heard he made a lot of money in many different ways. Phenomenal guy.
Hey, shout out to Division Plus. Welcome to the party. Long time no see. Good to see you. Welcome. There we go. See, that is how we make it fun.
What we can say about Bugsy Siegel, don't say that. You can't say that. You call him Ben. Well, what can you tell me about Ben? Very good guy. Really. How about Frank Costello? Fantastic guy. How about everybody's a good guy like Sonny? Come on, Sonny. I mean, just no, these are stand-up guys. I don't know what you're talking about.
There you go.
Sonny eventually doesn't agree to do the interview. That interview never happens. Okay. But Sonny told his son, he said, be very careful of the people that are lower power people in the mob family, because one day they could be a boss. And when they do become a boss, they're going to remember every way you disrespected them. And they're going to seek their vengeance on you in their own way.
Let your kitty fly.
So be very careful to the lower level people that are coming up. One day they could be your boss. Okay.
I don't even know how to do that.
All right. So you're running a company. You see a guy that's been with you for 5 years. He's doing a good job. He's at work. He does 60 hours a week. Stand-up guy, effort, attitude, teamwork, innovation, results, competency, specialized skill.
I don't know what this says about me. I saw a face. I saw a face with ears and somebody writing. Are these supposed to be boobs and those are arms? I mean, I love me some boobies, as I said earlier.
Stand-up guy, effort, attitude, teamwork, innovation, results, competency, specialized skill. He's got all that stuff. Then all of a sudden, he goes from being a performer. Maybe he's got 1 or 2 people reporting to him. You make him a VP and has got 35 people under his division. And then all of a sudden you see him
There you go.
become a tyrant and a dictator. Like, wait a minute. Did it just
Guys, like, please use these. It would make me so happy if like this was just like a normal part of the chat. It would make me so happy. So happy. That's what okay, thank you. Oh, thank you. See, I mean, even still, what's the dot in the middle? Do the I'm just anyway, owl face. Fair enough.
become a tyrant and a dictator? Like, wait a minute. Did it just happen overnight? Or was that always in there, but you were hiding it, and boom, now that you have the power, now you're abusing it, right? A lot of these people on the political side, deep down inside, someone offended them. A mom, a dad, a cousin, an ex, a friend, a professor, a teacher, somebody. And their way of seeking vengeance is to have control over other people. Lincoln said, you want to find out, test someone's character, give them power. These guys now have power and they're showing what they're all about.
Yep.
And they fear somebody coming in that's a non-establishment guy coming in. They could lose that and be exposed. They are not willing to give that up.
And that is why I don't think it's crazy to think that they would take Trump out. It would be really weird. That would be really weird cleavage if it was boobs. Hey, weird boobs, weird cleavage, boobs or boobs.
They're not willing to give that up. It's going to take everything they can to take that privilege away from them. And that's not going to be an easy thing for Trump to do.
You may have come to the obvious conclusion that the real debate is not between Republican and Democrat or socialist and capitalist, right, left.
We'll let him.
The real battle is between people who are lying on purpose and people who are trying to tell you the truth. It's between good and evil. It's between honesty and falsehood. And we hope we are on the former side. That's why we created this network, the Tucker Carlson Network. And we invite you to subscribe to it. You go to tuckercarlson.com/podcast. Our entire archive is there. A lot of behind the scenes footage of what actually happens in this barn when only an iPhone is running. tuckercarlson.com/podcast. You will not regret it. I guess the difficulty for
so usually I like to I want to make sure they get their due, but maybe there's well, let's just move on. There we go, dilly, we got boobs, yeah. And Boob gets treats too. Boob gets treats. Puppy likes boobs. I like boobs. We like boobs. Nah, those are boobs. Wait. What do we got here?
Good and evil.
Non-establishment guy coming in. They could lose that and be exposed. They are not willing to give that up. They're not willing to give that up. It's going to take everything they can to take that privilege away from them. And that's not going to be an easy thing for Trump to do.
You may have come to the obvious.
Man.
The power worshiping community is that they already did this in 2020. And now that, tempers have cooled and people can think clearly, they stole the election. Nobody actually thinks that was a free and fair election. It wasn't. And so the bar is a lot higher. Like, how do you do that again? And if you do it again, everyone's going to know you did it again. And then what kind of country do you have in January of 2025?
Study trends. If you a great stockbroker is somebody that looks at trends, seasons, months, days, announcements, quarterly calls, industry, market, election. You have to look at everything on a board to say, according to this and X, Y, Z, and what's going on right now, this should happen next in the next quarter. Go to the history books and look at, well, when we raised the interest rate this many times, here's what happened next. When we were going through inflation, you look at all the case studies. Like when COVID first happened, Jennifer and I are in Beverly Hills. We're about to have a board meeting. And then last meeting, everybody that's supposed to fly in cancels. I'm like, what the hell is going on? We brought the kids. We're about to go to Universal. That's the day Rudy Gobert gave Donovan Mitchell from the Utah Jazz COVID. And, NHL shuts down, NBA shuts down. That's the day. Disney shuts down Universal. What the hell is going on? We got to fly back. We fly back to that.
Shout out to the UFC for being the first sport to open back up. If only they didn't charge $80 goddamn for every pay-per-view, I might still watch UFC.
Alice, I take the family to the house. I come back to the office and I'm studying all the different pandemics that we've had. And you'll see out of all the pandemics we've had, how the market has reacted. 90% of the top 10 pandemics we've had, massive market drop off, but every one of them 6 months later it came back to exactly what it used to be, if not higher.
Yes.
There's only one that didn't recover for 12 months, and that's AIDS. Everything else, 6-month recovery, right?
Interesting. Almost convenient, you might say.
So I could sit there and say, well, this could be fear porn. Market's going to go down to 18,000, 17,000 down, whatever could happen, but it's fear. It's going to come back up 6 months later. That's exactly what happened, right? Boom, boom, came back up. Okay.
Boom.
So
boom,
trends,
boom.
things to study, patterns on what's going on with today. If we go to 2016 election, the mistake main.
I'm going to skip forward to the next part because he's kind of getting in the weeds and I don't really 100% care. So we're moving on to the reaction to the DOJ using, quote, deadly force language in the Mar-a-Lago raid. Let's see where that's at.
Prison. I mean, it's like, you know, it's a little bit upside down. I would say no, but that story, look, the media don't just mislead you. They're not just, you know,
Hashtag crime is down.
worker bees for the Democratic Party. They're, you know, they want to hurt you, like actually hurt you, like put you in prison or kill you. Like they're that involved in the machinery of internal repression in this country. So
You're not saying that the DOJ would ever give permission to use deadly force when they're invading a former
when they're
president.
going through Melania's underwear drawers.
That would never happen.
Yeah,
She
Melania
said,
shows up and says, "Why are you going through my nightgowns?"
Boom.
Bam!
Yeah,
Deadly force.
deadly force.
So I would say that the problem that we have as as people who are not part of the machine, you don't even need to be, it's not even a right or left question. It's, are you on the side of lies or are you not? Is we don't understand just how serious they are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you were running DOJ and you saw a search warrant that said, yes, the use of deadly force applies in a documents case, a classified.
See, if he had just said that, I'd have been like, yeah, you know, it'd be great if that can continue. But the fact is, he didn't know. That's why down from when is an appropriate question there. Because yes, it is down from yesterday, from the peak, from its highest of all time. But if you're trying to use that to say Biden did a good thing, that's just not what that is. That's just not what that is. And I'm not even saying it's all on Biden. All these Democrat cities certainly passed a shit ton of bad laws, but it is on the back of the public support because of the culture that comes from the top down. I think it's undeniable.
By documents case. By the way, the documents were meaningless. No one's ever shown otherwise. Doesn't matter. You can put them on the internet now. It just doesn't matter, actually. And if you were the attorney general and you were looking through the warrant and said use of deadly force is allowed, you'd say, whoa. We're literally rooting through Melania's dresser. We don't need to use deadly. Wouldn't you say that? Just as someone who believes in fairness and sanity?
The fact that you're putting that in there to give permission, and it's just kind of, water under, yeah, no worries.
So this is news to me. Apparently it will, if I understand correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but if I understand correctly, what he's saying is again, this is news to me, that there was language in the warrant that they could use deadly force if necessary when raiding Mar-a-Lago. Sus.
Next news cycle, it's not a big story. Next news cycle, it's not a big story.
But what does it say? It says that they're serious enough to kill you. Absolutely, they are. Gonzalo Lira got murdered in Ukrainian prison. That's, of course, run by the State Department and CIA, basically killed by the Biden administration.
I mean, the government doesn't kill people extrajudiciously. Come on, Tucker. Come on. What is his face? You know better than that.
No big deal.
Well, I mean, at least
he's an American citizen.
Well, at least the confidence comes the fact that never in the history of U.S. has the government ever assassinated a president. So it's not like that kind of a person who's a very ambitious vice president would never do that to become a president historically, and within minutes want to be sworn in. That
sounds like a dangerous conspiracy theory to me. So let me ask you though, it's pretty clear to me.
I love how there's just enough what's the word? There's just enough subtlety in what they're saying that it's very, very obvious. But if you don't know, then you'd be like, wait, what are they talking about? Of course they wouldn't do that, but they've already done it.
It sounds like a dangerous conspiracy theory to me. So let me ask you though, it's pretty clear to me that 2 summers ago, so August 2022, when that deadly force raid on Mar-a-Lago took place and they rooted through the former First Lady's underwear, that was the moment when Trump kind of came back. Like DeSantis was done. This is my read on it. The more they persecute Trump unfairly, the more transparently grotesque and corrupt it is, the stronger Trump becomes. I mean, I think it seems pretty obvious. There's been polling on this. Do you think that people who did it knew?
Wow. So not only was deadly force authorized, but they also didn't contact the Secret Service first, and they showed up and showed up armed in plain clothes. Just reading what you're saying. I'm not here to fact check you guys and say, oh no, like if there's something I know, whatever. But I'm just going to take this at face value. When I read this, that tells me that they wanted the Secret Service to open fire so that they could take him out. What other reason would you not contact the Secret Service, show up in plain clothes while you're armed?
That would happen? Like how much of this did they think through?
No, I actually don't think they thought it would happen. I think they think it's working. I think they think it's working, and now it's too late.
Okay, that's a better. I think they realize it's too late. I think I wish we could. I wish we could red flag law our own government, but I disagree with him here that they think it's working. I think they thought it would work, and then when it didn't, they just realized, okay, well we're too far gone. I think they thought it would work, and then they didn't expect so many people to rally behind the Trump. They expected the 91 indictments. They expected that to be enough. They expected that to work. Like crime is down, but it didn't. Can't lie to us over and 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 expect us to just trust you. That is silly. Zippy said the bureaucracy loves forums. The deadly force page is pre-filled out. It's practically standard procedure, and I think it is, as the bureaucracy enforces absurd rules to make absurd rules. I mean, that would definitely be if that's so. When was the last time that when did they didn't have to raid Biden, right? With the documents that he had, or am I mixing that up? Did they have a raid, or was it just that they asked for the documents back? Either way, the point of my question is, if this is the case, and that's just kind of standard for like, if some shit goes sideways, well, end of the day, we got whatever. Maybe. Doesn't make it any better. It just makes it less targeted. It just means like, oh, they're just deeply corrupt. They're not just corrupt for Trump. Any film said, what would have happened if security on site stopped them at the door? Oh my goodness. We could have never expected this. All we wanted to do, we knocked on the door. All we did was knock. And these far-right extremists who are in Trump's pocket, they're so crazy that they opened fire on our own government officials. How could they do this? Lock him up. Lock him up. That's what they want. Okay, yeah. So again, if I mean, saying that if this is pretty standard, that just means that they're shitty all of the time, and that the one less aspect of targeting Trump, but not good. So he said, I think they knew Trump was out of state, but it is government intelligence. I'm just gonna leave it there.
They think it's working. I think they think it's working, and now it's too late.
I think those are two different things. It's not working. They realize it's not working, but they realize it's too late. Because what are they going to do now? Be like, oh, okay, well, all 91 indictments, you're cleared. They can't do that.
Michael Cohen, did you steal from the Trump organization? Yes, sir, I did. What? Yeah, I did. Holy shit. So now somebody on CNN has to say, it's over for this guy, right?
Yeah.
So this is another reason why sometimes when people are, we're going to sue those guys, go ahead and do it. Then comes discovery. You got to also give me your discovery, right? Meaning, so
Of course.
when you're suing, I want to see your discovery. Give me your discovery. Let's go through it. You're suing me? Great. Let's go through it. I want to see discovery on text exchange, email exchange, Oh, shit. No, we don't want to do that. Well, but that's how lawsuits work. I want also discovery, right? So now it's backfiring.
Okay, so real quick, sorry. So I'll do this. Nope. Oh, where are we? Okay, so we are here. So they're talking about they're about to start talking about the State of the Union address. I mean, I don't really think that's the most important thing. And then it goes to analysis on our media landscape, which leads into the Cuomo stuff that we already covered. So I think we'll finish this part. We'll skip Biden. We'll go over to the media landscape, and then we'll head to the after party for the members of course. Eddie Film said they didn't raid Biden, not his garage, not his office at Penn State, nor Hillary's server, saying it was standard procedure is shit. That's what I was thinking, but I didn't know any better. They also manufactured the raid pictures with fake secret documents. Surprise. So he says, government can't even follow its own laws. They locked up a guy for 10 years in New York just for printing his own pew-pews, doing his own engineering. I think technically that is against the law, right? Like, it's a terrible, horrible law, and that's unconstitutional, but that is the law. Let's not, the thing is, the government is so bad that we don't need to make up things that are like, well, we don't like that. Like, hey, if the law is you can't have any guns and you have a gun, that's against the law. There's enough there to talk about that. We don't have to pretend that that's not against the law. It's just a bad law.
But that's how lawsuits work. I want also discovery, right? So now it's backfiring. Now they have to sit there. If we really play this thing out, I'd be curious with you. Why do you think they chose to all of a sudden flip June 27th debate, and then the next one's going to be, in September? And first one, I think, is CNN. Second one, I think it's ABC, if I'm not mistaken.
First one before the DNC.
Why do you think all of a sudden they flip so quickly? Are you part of the camp that thinks maybe they're trying to see how good he's going to be to kind of replace him? Or what is the motive of trying to do
there are
it?
many levels, and I don't know the answer.
That's what I think. They moved it up to be like, okay, we've been doing all these calculations and none of them have been coming out right. Let's put the man in front of Trump. Whatever happens there, then we'll go from there. Because Trump could very easily, without a crowd, without, with the mic being turned on, he could go way too hard and be, just too Trump. That is a very real possibility. And that might work out for them, in which case they keep going with Biden. Or he gets demolished. And they're like, well, yeah. Anybody down for somebody else? Gavin Newsom, Big Mike, maybe? And everybody's like, yeah, oh my God. What a great idea. We never liked Biden anyway. We just hate Trump. We just hate Trump. That is it.
Replace him? Or what is the motive of trying to do
there are
it?
many levels, and I don't know the answer. I think it's getting a little late to try and replace him, honestly. And I think that'd be a pretty hard sell. And with whom? And what do you...
Again, they were talking about it before, but I disagree because I think in this particular circumstance, the less time, because it's not about Biden, the less time that you give people to discuss, like, okay, well, if you just last minute, let's say the October surprise is that Biden dies and they put somebody else in there. Well, there's not much time to be like, okay, well, all right, how is this going to work? It's just like, oh shit, let's just make sure Trump's not in office. So I think the best thing they could do is pull a last minute switch. I don't know what would be better. It's not against the law. It's a technicality. If they want to keep, they can keep you in jail for months for just jaywalking. Just come up with random shit to keep them in. All right, fair, but you know what I mean.
you do with Kamala? This is the problem with DEI, with elevating people beyond their capacity, taking like a true mouth-breathing moron like Kamala Harris and making her vice president. Like these are the wages of sin that they're dealing with.
I agree that He has been the perfect puppet, but I think that time has ended. I don't think he has the faculties to be a good puppet. He is weak enough that he will do whatever they say, but if he can't understand what the hell is going on, then that's not a good puppet. You need when you pull the strings, you need the arms to move, and he just isn't there. So I get what you're saying, but I think this goes even more to what I was saying, that a last-minute surprise switch is the best thing the Democrats could do.
With now, and I'm really glad to see it. So I don't know that they replace him. I don't know how they can. Maybe they're more clever than I am and have a plan. I think it's as simple as the guy who's down wants to debate. He needs to change the storyline. You know, if the trend is hurting Joe Biden, it's not his friend. And so they got to do something. Like, why not debate? You know, and again, it comes back to pharmacology. Like, they're
Big Mike would be the first black male to be the first black female president. Truly a groundbreaking event for the future of mankind. All right, if we're getting bored, we don't have to stick here. All right, let's see what they got about analysis on the media landscape.
Either Amazon or Netflix, one of those guys paid some $100 million, $120 million. So you're seeing sports make the transition out of cable TV because cable TV has been saved by three communities. You got the boomers, you got the sports community, and you got Big Pharma. You take those three out, there is no cable. It's gone. Big Pharma gets their advertising dollars through there. So you need one president to come in and say, hey, we're not going to be one of two like New Zealand allowing you guys to advertise on TV. You're gone. Do it elsewhere. You're not going to advertise anymore. You know who goes out of business if they do that? 80% of these guys, if not more. Boomers, it's just a matter of time.
I mean, I don't think that would just to pause for 1 second.
Put a 1 in the chat if you still put a 1 in the chat if you have cable in your household. So if you like, even if you don't use it, like if you live with your parents and there is so if there is a cable connection in your household, put a 1 in the chat. Burn up all your energy. What? What? I don't know what this means. Yeah, I haven't had. Yeah, satellite counts. So like terrestrial TV. Yeah. So if you have DirecTV or Optimum or any of those. Really? Wow. And do you live with the boomers? I'm on the phone. That's interesting. I don't think I've had. So I moved out in 2010, but I definitely had. Okay, so you're so that's for the boomers. I moved out in 2010, but I definitely had cable for at least the 1 year I was there, and the 2 next years. So it'd be 2013. So 2013. Yeah, 11 years. 11 years I haven't had cable, and don't miss it a little bit. Everybody's like, I haven't had that since 2010. That's when I got Morty. Morty, his full face was black. His whole face was black. The last time Liberty Plus TV was watching cable TV.
Boomers, it's just a matter of time.
I mean, I don't think that would just to pause for 1 second. I don't think that would save America, but I think it would improve America a lot.
Tremendously.
People, do you take any head drugs? Are you in Xanax or Adderall?
No. But I take
yeah, Xanax. Oh wait, it's a joke, guys. It's a joke.
Everybody is
right.
And those drugs kill you and destroy your.
Wait, what did he say?
Oh no. But I take
everybody is.
You're right.
Wait, everybody is what?
A lot.
Tremendously.
People, do you take any head drugs? Are you in Xanax or Adderall?
No. But I take
everybody is.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And those drugs kill you and destroy your brain.
Yeah.
And no one ever says anything about it. How many people do you know are addicted to Xanax or Adderall? I know a lot personally.
I've lost friends over that.
Me too.
Personally, a number of them. Yeah.
So
right, but there's a big difference between being like a Xanax abuser and somebody who takes like Xanax is a bad example because the people who are taking it are getting unknowingly addicted and then or whatever. Like if you want to talk about the SSRIs, I think that would be much more in line with the point that he's making. But point taken.
Xanax and Adderall, which are considered like totally normal, it's just Xanax and Adderall. Like that's completely evil.
Right.
I mean, that's meth. and
Heroin.
physically addictive
Heroin.
benzodiazepine. I mean, it's like really crazy. And I can't remember the last time I remember ever seeing a story on. Have you ever seen a story on that?
The only one you would think about is when Tom Cruise went on Matt Lauer and it pushed the envelope and, going at him.
I got my own. Where is it? Okay, I want to make sure I'm not doxing myself here. Where? Right there. Oh, yeah, Klonopin, baby. But the thing is, like, I used to be somebody who abused these drugs, and I used to abuse these drugs, and so if I had some Klonopin, then I'd be looking at 3 to 4 milligrams to take as a way to be intoxicated and feel high. After I left all that behind and realized, like, wait a minute. There's actually like a real way to use this. And like, I don't have to white knuckle myself through every single day. As long as you just use it the way it's intended. And when is this bottle even from? Because I upped my dose one time way back when. So this is from about a year ago. And yeah, it's been like 3 or 4 years. No, more than that. About 5 years. And I upped my dose once. And so if you take these things as they're intended, then that's not necessarily the issue. The problem is that Big Pharma and the doctors get paid to push it where it doesn't need to be. So that falls under the same exact thing as like the trans stuff. It's not that inherently getting a mastectomy is a bad thing. It's just that you're using it inappropriately. Zippy says on lorazepam. Yeah, that's the same shit. But Tennessee started to hate Big Pharma money. Yeah, well, I mean, hey, dilly to that. I am 4 hours benzo free. Harley said, actually, there's a great documentary on YouTube about people taking medications for mental health. Essentially, doctors are lying about them, and it's killing people, and there's nothing they can do. Well, I mean, they could be honest, but yeah, the people being lied to, it's like, who else are you supposed to trust? Who else are you supposed to trust? And that's why you see people from... That's what happens with all the good drugs. That's why I am so happy that I was able to see, the benefit of this, because Xanax is fantastic as a drug to abuse, but it will take over your life. And if you can find that place where you can just use it for what it's meant to be used for, and it addresses in your body what it's meant to address, it's a godsend. It's a godsend. I will say, on days when, like, I used to not keep a very close count, and I just used to, because I would take a milligram in the morning, milligram in the afternoon, and one at night. And a couple times I thought I was doing the counting right, but apparently I wasn't. And get to the end of the month, I was like, oh shit, I have 2 days worth that I don't have anything here. Found that using magnesium and vitamin D, you kind of up the dose a little, and it definitely will do a little some. I mean, you're not gonna get high, but you ain't gonna freak out as much. All right, let's finish this up.
The only one you would think about is when Tom Cruise went on Matt Lauer and it pushed the envelope and
Right.
going at him. I don't know if you remember that. Where he said, "Why are we taking all these?"
Do I remember it?
Yes.
Yes, I remember. I remember thinking the time.
Have you guys seen that? When Tom Cruise went on Matt Lauer? That was fucking groundbreaking. Let's actually do that. Let's end there, because you guys don't seem to be very interested in this. Come on.
Tom Cruise, it's been a pretty busy couple of weeks for the movie star. His relationship with Katie Holmes spawning 1,000 tabloid headlines. He came here to our studio.
I would rather poop hard then have restless leg syndrome and chills and night sweats and all that stuff.
On Thursday for a freewheeling discussion. In the first part of our interview, we talked about
shout out to Mudwater. Shout out to Mudwater. Yes, shout out to Mudwater. If you are if you abuse caffeine, like if you're one of those people who needs like 5 cups a day, look into Mudwater. MUD. I don't know. Just Google it. It's I think they spell water like WATR or some shit. But I had a client that had some that gave me some. I had to quit caffeine years ago because I was just like not eating and subsiding on only drugs, caffeine, and alcohol, and it was not good. But yeah, Mudwater, not a paid sponsorship, but hey, if Mudwater, you want to hook me up, let's do it.
his new love and his new movie as his fiancée looked on. Anything at all interesting happening in your life these days?
Yeah, you know, same old, same old.
Let's also not forget he's a Scientologist, but when you're right, you're right.
Same old, you know what?
Same old, you know what?
How are you handling this? I mean, every magazine, every newspaper, every entertainment show. What's it like for you to be living through this right now?
I have to tell you, it's just
June 2014. And this is after War of the Worlds and his new relationship with Katie Holmes. Katie Holmes, oh my God, I'm in love, Katie Holmes.
It's a great time in my life. I'm really happy. I'm engaged. I'm going to be married, and I can't restrain myself. You know,
it's like you have two little cords on your cheeks, and your teeth just keep showing, which is great. Congratulations. I was thinking about it. On the one hand, it's got to be a little hard to see yourself everywhere, splashed across the pages. Another aspect of this, who happens to be sitting right over there. How do you respond to that?
You know what? There's always
trying to become or stay relevant for a younger audience. And that's why he's out there talking about this relationship with this lovely young lady who happens to be sitting right over there. How do you respond to that?
He's like, drugs, caffeine, and alcohol is a great diet. Come back to the dark side. Sometimes I wish I could. Sometimes I wish I could. Oh, that is a good life to live until it's not.
You know what? There's always cynics. There's always has been. There always will be.
Do you laugh about it or just bug you?
No, you got to just... I have never worried, Matt, about what other people think and what other people say.
Easy to say for a famous fucking motherfucker.
Katie, close your ears for a second, okay? You have said that Katie is the real thing. She is sensational. She's...
Can you think about, like, I mean, Hollywood people are not on TV. Like, granted, this is in 360p. But celebrities don't go on TV looking like that anymore. God damn, she is fucking cute.
Close your ears for a second, okay? You have said that Katie is the real thing. She is sensational. She's magnificent. Can you explain to me what she's brought to your life that hasn't been brought to your life in the past?
That
no,
what?
Compare things. I just say,
I know, yeah,
no, because you know, but what it is, it's that thing where you just in life when it just happens, man. You know, it's just you meet someone, and it's. I can't even describe it.
Katie has mentioned that she is embracing, or at least exposing herself and opening herself up to Scientology. At this stage in your life, could you be with someone who doesn't have an interest?
Hell no.
You know, Scientology is something that you don't understand. It's like...
Correct. Scientology is definitely something I don't understand.
You could be a Christian and be a Scientologist, okay? Scientology is something...
So it doesn't replace religion.
And it is a religion because it's dealing with the spirit, you know, you as a spiritual being. And it's something that there's tools that you have that that you apply to your life.
Coming up, the mood changes a bit.
Oh, come on.
The press, because clearly you've done the homework and you know the subject.
And you should. And you should do that also, because just knowing people who are on Ritalin isn't enough. You should be a little bit more responsible in knowing
I'm not prescribing Ritalin, Tom, and I'm not asking anyone else.
Yeah, but you're definitely letting those Ritalin ads play in between whatever
It's
the hell
a
you're
little
saying.
testy, and you'll see that coming up in our next half hour. And the tone of the discussion took a turn.
I've never agreed with psychiatry, ever. Before I was a Scientologist, I never agreed with psychiatry. And then when I started studying the history of psychiatry, I started realizing more and more why I didn't agree with psychiatry. And as far as the Brooke Shields thing is, look, you got to understand, I really care about Brooke Shields. I think here's a wonderful and talented woman.
Keep in mind that this man is very, 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 very aware of Weinstein.
And I want to see her do well. And I know that psychiatry is a pseudoscience.
But Tom, if she said that this particular thing helped her feel better, whether it was the antidepressant or going to a counselor or a psychiatrist. Isn't that enough?
Matt, you have to understand this.
Isn't that enough? They said that just going and living as a woman made this trans person feel better. Isn't that enough?
Here we are today, where I talk out against drugs and psychiatric abuses of electric shocking people, okay, against
And again, replace that with HRT. Replace exactly what he's saying with HRT.
their will, of drugging children with them not knowing the effects of these drugs. Do you know what Adderall is? Do you know Ritalin? Do
you know what Lupron is?
Know now that Ritalin is a street drug? Do you understand that?
The difference is this was not
Matt,
against
Matt,
her
I'm
will,
asking-
though.
Matt, I'm
But this
asking-
wasn't
Matt, I'm
against
asking you a
Brooke's will.
question. Matt, I'm asking you a question.
I understand.
And remember how crazy everybody's like, whoa, Tom Cruise went crazy. No, Tom Cruise is crazy, but in this very moment, he's on fucking point.
Understand there's abuse of all of these things.
No, you see, here's the problem. You don't know the history of psychiatry. I do.
Aren't there examples, and might not Brooke Shields be an example of someone who benefited from one of those drugs?
All it does is mask the problem, Matt. And if you understand the history of it, it masks the problem. That's what it does.
And it's not even like that's not even saying anything negative about psychiatry or psychology. It is a just like in certain levels of quantum physics or whatever, that like we acknowledge here are things that we don't know. We think, well, this works when you plug it into this thing, but we don't know what it is, so we're going to call it dark matter, dark energy, or we're going to call it an imaginary number or an irrational number or whatever it is. That doesn't mean that there's nothing to it. And so it's looking back at this and realizing how perfectly it maps onto the trans shit is scary. That is scary. Shout out to the Plungecast. Welcome to the party. Yeah, he did not satisfy, at least personally, because Tucker straight up like, well, why? Why can't he apologize? Why is he this? Why is he that? And well, I'm concerned about having a big name. What? Pardon? Fucking what? And again, I was saying that if PBD had come and been like, yeah, I don't back what Chris Cuomo has done, but he is a unique person who has been in a unique position in a unique time in our history. And what we do at Valuetainment is have the conversations nobody else is willing to have, nobody else is able to have, whatever the case may be. You didn't go there. You just said, it helps me. All right, fine. But that's a slap in the face to me. When you bring the head person who made my life a living hell for 3 years, maybe not the lead person, but the lead person dispelling bullshit. I was like, hey, yeah, come on. No apology necessary. We'll give you a little, hey, well, you might have been wrong about that. That's not enough. That's not enough. Welcome to the party. But yeah, we're just, I don't even remember how we got onto this. We were talking about 9 years ago when Tom Cruise here was on with Matt Lauer and being like, yo, these psychiatric drugs are bullshit. And it's not that I wouldn't call them pseudoscience. I would just call it such a soft science that it's irresponsible to treat it as anything else. I mean, it's better than like it's one step above like Reiki. It's one step above acupuncture. There's stuff that there's been studies. There's stuff that acupuncture will work. There's stuff where people, whether it's a placebo or not, are helped by Reiki. But there's no valid science behind it. And I don't know why it's treated any differently. And this is 9 years ago.
The problem, Matt. And if you understand the history of it, it masks the problem. That's what it does. That's all it does. You're not getting to the reason why. There is no such thing as a chemical imbalance.
So postpartum depression.
See, that part's not true. But the idea is that you can fix a chemical imbalance with other things other than these heavy drugs.
to you is
Matt,
kind of a little psychological gobbledygook?
No, I did not say that.
I'm just asking, what would you call it?
Matt, that is that post. Now you're talking about two different things.
But that's what she went on the antidepressant for.
But what happens, the antidepressant, all it does is mask the problem. There's ways of vitamins and through exercise and various things. I'm not saying that isn't real. That's not what I'm saying. That's an alteration of what I'm saying. I'm saying that drugs aren't the answer, that these drugs are very dangerous. They're mind-altering, antipsychotic drugs. And there are ways of doing it without that so that we don't end up in a brave new world. The thing that I'm saying about Brooke is that there's misinformation, okay? And she doesn't understand the history of psychiatry. She doesn't understand in the same way that you don't understand it, man.
But a little bit what you're saying, Tom, is you say you want people to do well, but you want them to do well by taking the road that you approve of, as opposed to a road that may work for them.
No, I'm not.
Well, if antidepressants work for Brooke Shields, why isn't that okay?
I disagree with it. And I think that there's a higher and better quality of life. And I think that promoting, for me personally, see, you're saying, I can't discuss what I want to discuss?
No, you absolutely can.
But Matt, you're going in and saying that I can't discuss that.
I'm only asking, isn't there a possibility that, do you examine the possibility that these things do work for some people? That yes, there are abuses.
That's the overbearing part. And so, like, Zibby, again, I'm not saying that acupuncture has zero benefits. What I'm saying is that it is not a real science. It is not a hard science, the same way that even the way that ibuprofen works in your body, that is still a very individual thing. There's people that are allergic to it. There are people that can take one and, the worst headache ever, and it's just gone. And some people need to take a 6, and then they get it. But they act like, oh, acupuncture is this, and it does this, and then it that. It's not like that. It's not like that. Yes, it can help people. But the weight that's put on these therapies are not valid. They're not valid. Go get acupuncture all you want. It's sure shit ain't gonna hurt you because it don't do shit. But it might help, with some effects. And then of course we have the placebo effect. So doing anything gives you a 30% chance to feel better. And anything. I can tell you doing this will get rid of your headache. And 30% of people who believe me will lose their headaches. That's how powerful the mind is. Context of my sister-in-law currently had a McDojo artist. Oh, Jesus. Currently, what do you mean? Currently had. And what are we talking about? McDojo instructor that is equivalent to MMA champion. What do you mean? Any film said, Adam Carolla talked about meeting Cruz and the nicest man in Hollywood. Fair enough. Acupuncture isn't real science. Cue Chinese national anthem. Ging, 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 ging. That's how it goes, right? Shout out to Adam Carolla. Punchcast said, I used to be on antidepressants. It's not worth it long term. Find something that truly brings you joy and happiness. For me, it was art and music. Now I create and write comic books. Very happy now. Yeah. So what this should be is that if, again, like I said, the fact that chemical imbalances are fake, that is not true. So you can have a chemical imbalance. You take some of these drugs to allow yourself to do the things that will fix the depression. We sell it as the drugs fix the depression. It is finding that which truly brings you joy and happiness and purpose and all of those things. That is what solves depression. And sometimes, yes, you might have a chemical imbalance that is so so heavy that you're not able to get out of bed and go find and whatever. So yes, if that is the case, and a particular SSRI is appropriate to use for 6 months or so, that's a very different thing than, okay, just take this every day and then you won't be depressed anymore. What? That's a lie. That's a sales technique. So I'm just looking at the mechanics of it. It's a hard science. No, drugs take up much of the market focus. No real market for its science and study. Well, it's not necessarily the drugs themselves. There's a lot of drugs that are fun. It's the application of particular drugs and the efficacy of those drugs, as well as the messaging of how much those drugs and taking those drugs will affect your life. It's just an overemphasize. Let's just say it does. Let's just say this is, the perfect pill. It goes 100%. You take this pill, no matter what you're depressed about, depression is gone. In reality, it's more like, here, like you need this much to get out of bed and start doing shit for yourself. And you're down here because of chemical imbalance. So you get up to here, and then you got to fucking do the actual work, and you end up here. Those are two very different things. The Beavis frequency said there's a huge vitamin D deficiency epidemic, which is highly correlated with depression and anxiety. Get some sun or just some vitamin D tablets. I don't be going outside that much, but that's why I take vitamin D every day. Every day. Liberty says, does any doctor actually measure this chemical imbalance, or are they all guessing? They're all guessing. There is no measurement that currently can be done. That's what you've heard of the DSM-4 or 5 or whatever they're on now. I think that's the DSM-5. It's not a measurement of brain activity, chemical imbalance. And it's, do you feel this, and this, and also feel this, and this? Well, that must be this. That's how it works. And that is not science. Exactly. If they don't measure it, it's not hard science. Full stop.
I know, but Matt, you're going in and saying that I can't discuss that.
I'm only asking, isn't there a possibility that, do you examine the possibility that these things do work for some people? That yes, there are.
Yes, and still, I have my conclusion.
Abuses. And yes, maybe they've gone too far in certain areas. Maybe there are too many kids on Ritalin. Maybe electric shock.
Kids on Ritalin. Matt.
I'm just saying, but aren't there examples where it works?
Matt, you're glib. You don't even know what Ritalin is. If you start talking about chemical imbalance, you have to evaluate and read research papers on how they came up with these theories, Matt. Okay? That's what I've done. And you go and you say, where's the medical test? Where's the blood test that says how much Ritalin you're supposed to get?
It's very impressive to listen to you, because clearly you've done the homework and you know the subject.
And clearly you haven't. And this is Matt Lauer, who eventually was, I don't even fucking remember what his bullshit was, but then comes Chris Cuomo. And not like directly, but I mean, the same type of person.
And you should. And you should do that also, because just knowing people who are on Ritalin isn't enough. You should be a little bit more responsible in knowing.
I'm not prescribing Ritalin, Tom, and I'm not asking anyone else to do it.
Well, you are. You're saying no.
But you have a show right now where you're talking about it. You're right at this very moment when this is being recorded, speaking on some shit that you don't know. How many of you are old enough to remember what the reaction to this interview was? Believe nothing except that anything is possible.
Knowing
I'm not prescribing Ritalin, Tom, and I'm not asking anyone else to do it.
Well, you are. You're saying no.
I know some people who seem to have been helped by it.
But it's like, this is a very important issue.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was legit. From what I remember, the big thing was that he had the button under his desk, which is a pretty common thing. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but there was something.
This is a very, you know what, and you're here on the Today Show,
right?
And to talk about it in a way of saying, well, isn't it okay, and being reasonable about it when you don't know, and I do.
And if you have done the research and think that it's okay, that is one thing. But as Tom Cruise is saying, you don't know. You're just saying what you're told to say. So those drugs were pushed through the FDA without proper scientific trials. Lobbying is a bitch. But wait a minute. Are you telling me that the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, would push a drug through because somebody paid them?
What?
Like money?
Oh,
they wouldn't do that. No. You're a conspiracy theorist, bro. Come on, chill out. Maybe said one of the largest class action lawsuits in history was against GlaxoSmithKline, the manufacturer of Paxil. They covered up data linking the drug to increased self-deletion ideation in youths and birth defects. But that's okay, because we didn't know any better. Diet and exercise will solve most things. And again, if you do have a chemical imbalance, then the drugs that you take should be to get you to a place where you can do this.
To talk about it in a way of saying, well, isn't it okay, and being reasonable about it when you don't know, and I do. I think that you should be a little bit more responsible in knowing what it is, because you communicate to people.
But you're now telling me that your experiences with the people I know, which are zero, are more important than my experiences.
What do you mean by that?
You're telling me what's worked for people I know or hasn't worked for people I know, and I'm telling you I've lived with these people.
And that's how far it goes. Like, well, they told me that their life is better, even though they don't have the counterfactual of what their life would be if they didn't take these drugs and took an alternate route. I can stand here and tell you that other people took the vaccine and were like, oh, this is great. I want to take a booster. It's the same shit wrapped in a different... Same shit over and 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 over. And people never fucking learn. People never fucking learn.
You're telling me what's worked for people I know or hasn't worked for people I know, and I'm telling you I've lived with these people, and they're better.
So you're advocating it?
I am not. I'm telling you, in their case, in their individual...
That's literally what that word means. You're saying in some cases it can be good. Now, I agree, but you are not coming from a position of understanding what Tom Cruise is saying. Punchcast said, I agree with Tom, because they were pushing antidepressants hard on parents for any child that was a little hyper. They screwed the millies and wise hard. Absolutely. And again, this was 2014. So this isn't like when we were little kids. This is 10 years ago. Or technically not, it was June. So yeah, just about 10 years ago. Just about 10 years ago. I don't have the words. I don't have the words.
Individual case, it worked. I am not going to go out and say, get your kids on Ritalin, it's the cure-all and the end-all.
Matt, but here's the point. What is an ideal scene in life? Okay. Ideal scene is someone not having to take antipsychotic drugs.
I would agree.
Okay, so.
Boom. 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 But meth can really help some people lose weight, so it should just be fine as a weight loss drug, right? No, Matt Lauer. Just because the people who are paying you said so doesn't mean that's how it works.
Now you look at it and you go, okay, a departure from that ideal scene is someone taking drugs. Okay. And then you go, okay, what is the theory and the science behind that justifies that?
Let me take this more general, because I think you and I could go around in circles on this for a while, and I respect your opinion on it.
That's cute that you need it. Hey!
Do you want more people to understand Scientology? Would that be a goal of yours?
You know what? Absolutely, of course. You know,
how do you go about that?
You just communicate about it. And the important thing is, like, you and I talk about it, whether it's, look, if I want to know something, I go and find out, because I don't talk about things that I don't understand. I'll say, you know what? I'm not so sure about that. I'll go find more information about it. So
yeah, and Punch is saying they use Brooke to push it. Anytime a pop culture personality says anything, a whole lot of money goes into pushing that narrative. Totally support Tom for taking a stand when it went against the narrative. The problem is that Dogma ruined it. If he was not a Scientologist, then people might have taken this a little bit more seriously. But because you've got Dogma screwing up your brains, it doesn't matter how right you are on this, that, and that. At the end of the day, people can just say, oh, well, he's just a Scientologist. And they're right, because Scientology is fucking crazy. So I don't trust your judgment on most things unless I look into it. If you believe what a Scientologist believe, I'm sure you've all seen the South Park episode where it's the aliens came and put in the volcano, and they come and take your spirit, and you go on a different world for Plamaxon or whatever. I know you didn't just say that, motherfucker. Moving on. Funkmaster said, one of the benefits of being Gen X, getting slapped was better than being pilled up. But I mean, Gen X were way more experimented on than millennials. So not really. There was definitely experimentation, but it was built off the experimentation from Gen X. So not a benefit of being Gen X. I think more millennials were pilled up, but the Gen X kids that were pilled were just fucking pilled up. So, I mean, I'll let you have it. I'll let you have it. All right, let's finish this
about
up.
things that I don't understand. I'll say, you know what? I'm not so sure about that. I'll go find more information about it so I can come to an opinion based on the information that I have.
Cruising.
Can't do that. Can't do that. Insanity. Insanity. Thinking for yourself, doing your own research. Don't you know that that's right-wing propaganda? It's the same old shit that we see over and over and over. And I did not realize how well that interview would map on to all of the issues that we talk about. 10 years ago, our culture is at a standstill. Think about that. 10 years. Where were you 10 years ago? Go to your Facebook or whatever the fuck and look at May 29th, 2014. See where you were, who you were, and realize that we are today, right now, dealing with those same fucking issues. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to do. But as long as we keep coming here, as long as we keep pointing this shit out and being aware that they can take they can play the game this way, they can play the game that way, they can play the game this way, they can play the game any different way. We gotta be on top of it. We have to be on top of it. And I think we're doing that. And you know, we're just a bunch of people. I'm just a guy. Y'all are just people. We're just normal people. But that's what America is. So let's keep on doing it. Let's keep on doing it. Shout out to all of the donations. Thank you to Zippy DSM Lee running up them Rumble rants. We also had Indie Film doing the damn thing with his $2 over there. And then, of course, we had Unwanted Foe with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. And of course, as always, the pillar of the community, the sponsor once again, the Funk Master General. Thank you so very, very much for supporting this work. I know that I feel like I'm doing something important, but when you guys show me that you think I'm doing something important, I don't know. It makes me want to keep going. And I want to keep going, and we will keep going. So I'll show up here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be right here, and other times as well. So make sure you hit the subscribe and ring the bell, because I just be going live. But definitely every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I will be right here. I will have something to say. I will have something for us to discuss. All I need you guys to do is show up and continue to be part of the conversation. And yeah, if you got some extra bucks, throw them my way to keep all this going, keep this building. But if you don't. But if you do. Don't give me no shit for fucking taking your money when you fucking gave it to me. But I definitely appreciate it. And let's shout out the comment other night said from Brian. He said Republicans aren't the answer to the problem, but the Democrats are the cause. Beautifully said. So I mean, I think it's interesting to see. You know, going back to the title here with Tucker and PBD, I think it was important for us to see how much he really did squirm, how much PBD squirmed when we were talking about like why did you bring this guy on, and all the sales techniques and whatever. Couldn't come up with anything. And so I am still of the opinion that there's unique types of conversations that can happen on Valuetainment, PD, whatever, because of the fact that he's there. But that doesn't mean that he deserves to be there. I think he needs to apologize to all of America, despite, and as Tucker said, well, if you're going to put your family over this, that, fine, then put your family over it. Then get the fuck off of my screen and shut your fucking mouth. I don't want to hear from you until and unless you apologize. You don't have to apologize. You can stand by every word you've ever said. You could stand by your essaying, murdering, grandma murdering brother and your meh father if you want. Go for it. But then get the fuck out of my face. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. Shout out to the replay gang. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so very, very much for hanging out once again. Woody is lost to the thunder, but he is my co-host. I am your host, Lutch, a.k.a. the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. See you guys in the after party. Make sure you join the Discord, join as a member, all of that good stuff. Until next time, guys, I am out of here. Peace.